Grande sponsor okurishimasu.
And with... God damn it, Taka. Okay.
Kono Bangumi wa.
Komangigiri wa grand sponsor tekuri okurishimasu.
Yeah, that's about right.
That sounds about right. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the second weekly Weebcast. I am joined today, once again, by Takahata101.
How's it going, everybody?
By Liam Allen Miller of the Two Best Friends Play Wrestling Federation.
Hey, go check out my Twitter at Arcadia.
That's good.
That's a joke. That's a joke for nobody.
That's a joke that nobody will get.
Here's a Star Trek joke for you. You are 4 of 2.
Hey, at least 5 people who watch Arcadia will get that.
Literally dozens of their fans are upset at you right now.
We're also joined by Misty Chronexia.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
The king of anime on YouTube.
The king?
Yeah,
I got promoted.
You say that with, like, Team 4-star. See, if he's the king, we're the Republic.
You're the shadow government.
That's true. We are the Illuminati.
And by Thomas Trong, a.k.a. Truongasm.
Well, hi there. I didn't see you come in.
He has the lowest voice out of all of us. It angers me somehow.
Yeah, he's usurping your position.
It's not as rough, and it's a new position, too.
Just add some bass and post-prod, and it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And today we are going to be talking about Space Patrol Luluco. Now, to be clear, we are recording this on the Thursday after the election, and we're not going to be talking about that at all. It is what it is, and we just...
There are better places to have that conversation with people who actually know what they're talking about.
Exactly. And we are 5 weebs sitting around our computers talking about cute little girls.
Well, there's boys, too.
There's cute... The boy is arguably cuter.
Yeah.
Well, except...
This series also has a hot dad. Just throwing it out there.
And sexy skeletons.
And yeah, the sexiest skeleton.
And her mom that is my fetish.
Female Kamina?
Yeah. That's my fetish. That's my fetish.
Yeah, that's my fetish,
Yeah, I can
too.
see that.
Yeah. Why not? Don't you want a girl who will drill her way to the heaven?
Mm-hmm. Actually, honestly, I think Midori's a little cuter.
Midori?
Well, we can get in that.
Midori's
The
super
alien.
cute. Yep.
You must have your eye on her.
Honestly, I'll just settle for Ruko. Her horniness has no bound.
Mm-hmm. All right, so, if you don't know, Space Patrol Luluco is the latest crazy, fun anime from Trigger, and will be up until the TV anime of Little Witch Academia finally comes out, at which point anime will be saved. It's about a little girl whose father is frozen to death, and no, we're not going to use that
he's
Christopher Lloyd meme.
He was frozen. Because he accidentally ate a frozen pill.
Mm-hmm.
Which was drugs that he caught, but he didn't pay attention. It was out of the bag.
Danny D'Amico was frozen to death today. I don't know anything about that. But yeah, so her dad is frozen, and to
at
pay
breakfast.
To pay for his unfreezing medical bills, she has to work her ass off for the Space Patrol, which involves being turned into a gun. And
it involves wearing a suit that turns you into a gun.
A suit that turns you into a gun through Judgment gun morphing.
Yeah, don't forget the light at the top.
Which is very embarrassing for somebody who just wants to be an ordinary high school girl.
Just because she spreads her legs and the gun comes out of her.
Yeah, it's about her saving the galaxy and finding true love along the way.
Absolutely.
Honestly, it became that being more than saving the galaxy at some point.
The galaxy just consists of other trigger planets.
And I might say, if this description doesn't do anything for you, the anime's literally
Yeah,
like
I was going to
90
say, if you
minutes long
haven't
at
seen
most.
it, take a break right now, and we'll see you in 15 minutes once you've finished it all.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
So
you can...
It's 13 episodes at 7 minutes long each, 2 of them being an outro song that kills the mood.
Yeah, so
I put it on Outlaw Star levels of, okay, I guess, for outro songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can finish all 4 seasons of this show. By the way, there are 4 seasons of this show.
A season is 21 minutes long.
Yeah. in the time it would take us to get through the mailbag and our weeks if we did this intelligently. Like a better podcast. Yeah, so basically the way that we do this is we go around in a circle. Everybody says what they thought of the anime, and then we launch into conversations based on that. Thomas.
Yes.
You're new to the podcast, and you are the world's premier expert on Luluco. Thomas in fact Luluco.
No, he isn't.
He has
shut up.
She's an anime. She's an anime character. He's trying really hard to be an anime character.
That's true. Yeah. So Thomas, tell us what you thought of Space Patrol Luluco.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of Gynex and Trigger, so I might be a little bit biased towards this show, but as a working adult with not a lot of free time, I really appreciate the fact that I could watch a short show made by this company, and as soon as I started watching it, I pretty much fell in love with it and kept watching it pretty much every week. If there's a requirement to watching this, you get more enjoyment out of it if you've seen Trigger's other works and their older Gainax stuff back to at least Die Buster, because it helps like identify all the references and all the characters that show up. Because I could imagine watching like the sex and violence episode without watching that short animation thing was probably pretty weird.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I was like, this must be a Studio Trigger thing.
And I mean, I watched that after watching Luluco was the thing.
Oh, really?
Luluco inspired me to watch that, and then I went back and watched the Luluco episode again. That is a weird...
It's a weird crossover.
It is a weird crossover. Just fair warning before we go any further, these discussions are post-show discussions, so we do go into a bit of spoilers on these shows. But again, if you want to get caught up on Luluco, you can literally get it done by the time...
Hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
No, wait, no, hour and 20 minutes.
Less,
Yeah.
Yeah, hour and 20 minutes.
It's going to be shorter than this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is short. So... And half of that is the opening and ending, which I appreciate.
Opening is very nice and short.
I really like the ending, too.
I don't like the ending.
Yeah, I'm more of the opening type.
There's a good mashup my friend Jab 50 Yen made with Drake with that song, and it made me appreciate it more.
I didn't
Drake
realize
makes you
know
appreciate
Jab, too.
everything. He's Canadian like that.
I didn't realize you know Jab, too.
Oh, yeah. As you probably figured out, I know a lot of people.
Yeah, Thomas knows basically everybody.
Especially you, listener. I know you the best.
He's inside your house right now. But yeah, I did end up watching Sex and Violence with Mach Speed after watching Luluco.
After Luluco.
And that was interesting because it was like, I have no idea what's going on, but I know that this has to be a reference to something because that's what this season is. It's interesting because each season of Luluco is broken down...
Yeah, in teams.
Into a theme. Like the first one's about, I just want to live my ordinary high school life, except that I keep turning into a gun.
Then the first episode is introduction of concept. Second episode is introduction of love interest. Third episode is introduction of extra character who hangs out and has sassy remarks.
And then the second season is like all about that conflict with her mom.
Yeah, about the antagonist from space.
And then the third season is pure references to Trigger's other three works.
All the planets of the galaxy are different Trigger animes.
It's like Kingdom Hearts.
The third season also serves very strongly as Luluco's main point of growth.
Yes.
Up until then, like the second season is the distinctive they go to space arc, right? Which I guess I should explain for anyone who doesn't follow my podcast or anything. The they go to space moment is when shit gets real. That's when shit goes down.
That's when we're no longer episodic. We serial now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's that moment in Gurren Lagann where that character dies. That's like it's that moment that the
once
turning
again
point
Studio
for the
Trigger.
show.
So there you go.
I might add that it has a wonderful voice cast if you're fans of any of their work.
Yes.
Mao, who's an up-and-coming VA, does Luluco. She's really, really cute. Midori, the alien chick, is Mayumi Shintani, who is also Haruna from Fooly Cooly, and what's her face? Pink
Are you
chick.
talking about? Is this the sub?
This
This is the original Japanese voice cast.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Is there a dub?
I
don't think so.
Okay.
Not so far. But...
The girl who goes Nani Sore in Kill la Kill. I love that voice so much. It's so granny-like. No.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got a very distinctive, like nasally voice. It's very unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does.
And it's very well suited to that character too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no, Midori was kind of my favorite like character out of the lot of them, just because she's so cynical and selfish, and she just stays that way.
I love I love Justice.
Oh yeah.
I just know what I love about that. This is for me. Mm-hmm. He barely moves, but the time he moves, it's amazing. He goes into his full power mode, or otherwise he's just at that desk, just bobbing with his one hand, and that's really, or just standing right there with the flames. And I love that because there's no animation happening. And including when she goes to that other place where there's another skeleton character, there's no animation. So that's the joke, is there's no animation with them.
That's Inferno Cop.
That's Inferno Cop, who's in that's another story.
Inferno Cop is their other 7-minute episode series, which
he's also in Hell. That's fucking great. Like, see, I feel like this is Trigger's abridged series.
Kinda, yeah.
Inferno Cop is like one of the best anime of the last few years.
It's one of their
first. Is he
first,
as well animated in that as he is in this?
Yes.
Okay,
exactly as well.
100% to the end, yeah.
Man, true trivia about how that show was developed. When I went to Trigger's panel, they were only allowed to work on that anime 1 hour a week while they were working on Kill la Kill.
And
yeah, I heard about that.
And the voice acting for it is literally mostly staffers just going into a booth and bullshitting whatever they can think of.
I'm pretty sure it's 100.
All right, good. You're good.
I'm pretty sure it was 100% staff.
I think they might have brought in like voice actors who were working on Kill la Kill for one-off stuff.
Oh, okay. I could believe that. I had heard that somewhere, but maybe that's not true. Yeah.
Yeah. But like it's literally like they improv'd it, and then some guy with a flash tool had to make the episode in under an hour, and they just make up the story as it goes along, and it's great. And then Inferno Cop is literally Justice, like they're the same character, and
pretty
same
much,
actor.
Yeah.
Different actors.
Different actors, but the exact same character.
I would give my left nut to voice the dubbed version of Justice. I would give my left nut for that.
Oh yeah, here they got Goto Junichi to do Inferno Cop, and everyone else is not credited. So I assume it's studio staff. Yeah. And his roles are pretty limited too. He was in Ikitausen, Ninja Slayer, Tegami Bachi, and of course Space Patrol Luluco. But it doesn't seem like he has other roles.
You gotta hold up, because he was an Ikitausen. So already this guy,
he's a god among men.
But he was only in Extreme Executor, the worst and shittiest season. So
I didn't even know there were guys in Ikitosen.
There's the cousin who you're supposed to want to be. Yeah. You know, because his cousin's
so off subject.
His cousin's boobs are so big though. That's how these
Well,
things
we're talking
go.
about voice actors. We're still on subject.
That's fair.
Yeah. Luluco has a very good voice cast. And it really does shine in comparison to Inferno Cop.
Well, this show actually does have a budget. Like, all jokes aside, with it being 7 minutes long and such, like, this is nowhere near Inferno Cop poverty levels of video production.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought it started very much like being low budget, but by the time you got to the end, they really put the guns in there.
You can see all that money they saved in that Inferno Cop scene, they blew in the other half.
They sucker.
Luluco was smart in the same way that Kill la Kill was.
No,
they used a lot of really smart techniques in order to save a lot of money, like straight tweening. Straight tweening was one of the biggest things they do, where they simply like either flip characters around or just have their arms move in a static fashion. For those who aren't familiar,
Mako's freaking out. It's just still images being like,
the judgment
exactly. They're very smart.
And the judgment gun morphing bit, they use repeatedly. Canned animations are very good for saving money.
Yeah,
but they do have some genuine Sakuga moments in it, which you don't expect going into it. And I mean, it's Imaishi's baby, right? So
absolutely,
of course, it's gonna go places that you don't expect it to.
He's one of the creators at this point that I have 100% faith in, and I mean, I guess I'll talk more about that when I get to my bit. I want to say something real quick, Thomas, about something you said before.
Yeah.
When you said up and coming voice actress Mao, right? Who voices Luluco?
Yeah.
I feel like she's been up and coming for fucking ever. And, like, she's been in so much now that I have a hard time seeing her as up and coming, but I totally get what you mean.
The funny thing is, the only reason I recognize her is because she's always spelled out by her first name, just like the M-A-O part.
It's so distinctive. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. So go ahead. I'll let you have it again.
Anyway, back to voice acting. It was kind of funny because Nobuyuki Hayama, he was Adult Link in Ocarina of Time. Joe Higashi in King of Fighters, and Gai Shishio and Gao Gaigar. You'd also know him as mostly V-Real from Gurren Lagann.
Yeah.
He comes back in this, and I was waiting for him to show up in the show, and then when he finally shows up as the villain, I was like, of course, that makes all the sense in the world.
It's the perfect role.
Yeah. I guess one last note I was going to make is, when the first chauffeur was first revealed, I was kind of worried at first because we didn't talk about it, but after Inferno Cop, they made a similar show called Ninja Slayer.
Yes.
Which followed a similar concept, but I felt it was just kind of more of the same, except with some comical yelling.
I thought it was a lot weaker than Inferno Cop, honestly. I know that's not necessarily an opinion everyone shares, but I didn't think it was as strong.
I didn't get sucked into it in the same way either. I felt like the biggest strength of Inferno Cop was we can do whatever the heck we want as long as it's within budget, but it has to be the first thing we think of because we've only got an hour. And with their second one, Ninja Slayer, was it, or Ninja?
Yeah, Ninja Slayer. It's actually based off some kind of American comic property, but they just went off on their own thing with it.
Yeah, it is an adaptation.
And with Ninja Slayer, it just ends up being, I don't know, maybe having like a rail to follow with it being an adaptation undermined it. But it just didn't have that anarchic sense of humor that kid making it up as it goes along Axe Cop sense of humor that Inferno Cop had.
I would say that Inferno Cop was more in line with like when you first saw Aqua Teen Hunger Force for the first time and thought it was amazing.
Yeah, no, that's a fair comparison.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And when you got to Ninja Slayer, it was more like 12-ounce mouse, where I was like, I'm not interested in this anymore.
I think the best part of Ninja Slayer was they got Boom Boom Satellites to do a track for that. And since I think Boom Boom Satellites are done now.
Yeah. Because
the singer died. But Kisniver was the last track he ever did before they
and that
quit.
Was a good track.
So
that was
it's fucking amazing. He's I love that band, and now he's dead. So
yeah.
2016. Sorry.
2016.
We'll probably get to Kisniver a little bit further on. Yeah, 2016. Yeah. So, yeah, Tom, you got any other thoughts on it?
Actually, Midori was going to be my waifu in that show until Sushi shows up. I call her Sushi. Sushi.
You call her Sushi and she calls you Tom.
Sushi from Little Witch Academia is amazing. And she's like one of the few characters in an anime unrelated to the main anime that kills the main character in a sense.
Yeah, that was a heck of a weird turn. But I mean, she kills her in
70 years.
A normal human lifespan. And it's unclear if after Luluco dies, she's still going to die from that.
Yeah. Or if it even did anything at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly true.
Also, we can't comment on the fact that technically the mushrooms were shoved up her butt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's...
They're not doing ass shots, but doing
pull
ass
them out of
rooms,
nowhere.
that's a bit different.
I also liked talking about reusing animation. Again, they just played the same animation backwards for transforming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were very smart with how they animated it, but yeah, I think that they did just a really solid job producing this. And what was brilliant about it is you go into it not expecting that level of quality, because not only is it like a 7-minute show following Inferno Cop and following Ninja Slayer, but it's also airing concurrently with Kisniver, which they are throwing so much money at. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's Imaishi clicks and it's like, oh, okay, this is going to go places. And it goes places.
Yeah, well, it's disappointing that people nowadays, not all people obviously, but people write off Imaishi, and like, you know, when Kill la Kill was going around, you know, there was pardon my language, but you know, trigger fags was being like chucked around because people feel like there's no substance to his content, and I think that's like a gross misunderstanding or lack of understanding about his content, and it sucks. And even if there were no content, like the action and uniqueness of his universes should speak for themselves. So I was actually kind of bummed that nobody was excited for this. This was easily the anime I was most excited for that season. I think we actually did the Weebcast that season.
And you went full in.
It was my winner from episode, what was it, 2 or 3 at the time? Like, so I feel really satisfied by it, and I think Imaishi does no wrong, but hey, that's just me.
I think that's a good place to bridge into asking you about your opinion of it.
Absolutely. Sure, I will take that. So yeah, I was like sold from the very beginning as soon as I saw his name was on it, and I don't tend to research anime before they come out the way I do with games. With games, I generally know a lot about them, but with anime, I kind of just go in blind for one reason or another. So I didn't actually realize this was going to be a short series, that is to say like 7-minute episodes. And when I first saw that, I was a little bit disappointed, because I was like, shit, that's an obvious sign that there's going to be a little bit less. But in actuality, this show totally embraces the adage of brevity is the soul of wit more strongly than I can think of any other short anime. And it brilliantly uses its 7 minutes in such a constructive way that by the end of all 13 episodes, I didn't feel like I had less of a substantial story than you would get from a regular quote-unquote 13-minute anime with full 24-minute episodes.
Yes, something that I'll say as from pacing wise, because I like the content I write is usually short form. It's like taking a lot and making it less.
Yeah.
This felt like it was a lot, and then it felt like it was a full. You could have made a proper anime out of it, like full 21 minutes, but condensing it down to the best parts and presenting it in a way that didn't hurt its pacing is what made it good. That's what I was going to bring up on my part, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's totally relevant, because you're right. You do the same work, and I feel like if this show was a 24-minute show, you could just cut it down to this.
Just cut it down to this, but like it accentuated the absurdity of it all.
Yeah, definitely, and having that as part of the design rather than like being worked out of it after the fact.
They made the fact that it was short a strength, not a con.
Yeah, exactly, and it's incredible. And they skip all the bits in anime that are shitty. You know, the first 3 episodes where we introduce characters with, you know, long, elaborate 3 to 5 minute sections per character.
That's kept bullshit. It really relevant.
That's horseshit. Yeah, and characters are introduced all the way through. But like when fucking Lalico Godspeed shows up, Luluco's mother, she's there for like less than a minute.
And she wrecks shit up.
I think. Maybe it's more than a minute. I can't fucking remember, but it doesn't really matter. She's barely there. You know exactly who she is and what she does. Her actions speak way louder than her words, which is really a lot of Luluco, honestly. And the whole series just manages to move along at such an incredibly brisk pace, and it's packed. The characters are constantly speaking. They don't tend. The only times they'll speak slowly is, of course, to accentuate important scenes. But generally, they're speaking at an incredibly brisk pace to the point where I know there was bits where I had to pause it real quick because I didn't quite catch a subtitle or something like that. You know, I can't gush enough about Luluco. There's something to be said of being able to recommend an anime that you think is unambiguously great, because it is not a waste of your time on top of its regular qualities. There are episodes of Gurren Lagann, there are episodes of Kill la Kill, there are episodes of Evangelion, you know, classics, favorites, and top-notch anime that waste your time a little bit. Not every minute is used perfectly in those shows. And I think, honestly, Luluco uses most of its minutes impeccably when you bear in mind that it is both about Trigger and about Luluco herself in respect to the 3rd season and some people's perception that it was a waste of time. I think without the 3rd season there, you wouldn't get all of Luluco's character building, and certainly you could replace it with something a lot more like in universe. But as a series that's kind of a love letter to Trigger themselves, you know, much in the same way that Wonderful 101 was a love letter to Platinum themselves. As a big fan, I felt like it was incredibly strong, and it got the point across all the more. So yeah, I can't gush enough about Luluco. I think it's a tremendous show, and if anyone's still listening at this point who hasn't seen it, go watch it. It's there's very little of it. It'll go by super fast. I don't think you'll feel like it was a waste of time, especially if you skip the opening and endings, because then it's about 60 minutes long or some shit. But
although I should say, are there any scenes that happen after the credits in some of the episodes?
I think there are.
Yes,
it has been
in
a
few
minute.
of them.
Okay, it has been a minute, because I think this ended in May or June or whatever. So I can't remember, but I do think, there are
there's stingers at the end of every season.
Maybe that's the rule.
Yeah, because I know that there was a stinger at the end of the third season when they get their medals, and it's just like, secretly the Black Holians are.
I love the naming scheme of the aliens. It's just the Black Hole, and like, why not? Fuck it, why not?
Black Hole Sage. Yeah. There's a lot of little things like that I adore. Like I really like the terminology used for theft, which is a theme that the villains impart. That's not quite the right word, but anyway, where they always call it shoplifting, and everything's being shoplifted. Granted, that's the English subtitling. I feel like you could just say it's being downloaded.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be funnier if it's downloaded, because it's like you're downloading this animation. Oh no, they're downloading the whole concept. Like, we're not getting the money we need.
On a very literal level, it's pirating everything.
On a literal level, they're pirating. The show is about being pirated. Well, our setting's being pirated. We got to go get it back, and now we have to go fly into our other shows to get there.
I do adore their ability to just like tilt things on, like Imaishi's ability to just tilt things a little bit and make things feel a little funny. Like, because it could have been just stealing stuff, but shoplifting, like it adds a little quirk to it. And I think that's like that's the high points of his series is the quirks.
You wouldn't download no Gikubo.
No, not at all. So I want to talk real quick about episode 7, which is Thread of Fate's Trap, which is the Kill la Kill crossover episode. This was the first crossover episode of the bunch. This is the first episode of season 3. And I think I was eating something at the time. And so when they approached the planet, I didn't see the name of the planet, which is like KLKX or whatever. Yeah. And I didn't quite catch that it was a Kill la Kill themed episode at that point, because I was eating. I wasn't 100% focused on the show.
The second I saw the ball of thread, I'm like, is this a Kill la Kill reference?
Yeah,
so exactly. I missed that bit, and I felt better.
Fucking look up, Liam. Look up from your other manga.
I'm too busy eating like a fucking kilogram of macaroni and cheese.
Meanwhile, he's playing his Vita at the same time. He's doing all three at once, so he can't concentrate on it.
Shut up, Mom. It's not a phase. But
me and your father are worried.
When the fucking song kicked in and the finale of that episode played, like, granted that was because I wasn't looking at the screen properly, but that was the moment where I was like, yeah, this is a fucking special show. Like,
well, it goes to 0 to 10 in like a couple seconds.
And it succeeds at it. No, and it totally succeeds at it. And I feel like there's a lot of media that tries to like escalate situations into intense action or big peaks, like action focused emotive peaks, not like emotive peaks as in Kisniver, but emotive peaks as in again, I'll go to Gurren Lagann because everyone knows that one, right? And I think some stuff like Asura's Wrath doesn't necessarily land it so well. I had an anime example, Bubuki Branki. You know that one?
Yeah.
Bubuki Branki, I was really down to watch that, and I feel like it really wasn't landing its action peaks at all. But Luluco, against all odds, totally does manage to land its action peaks just as well as shows like Kill la Kill and Gurren.
Yeah.
Granted, they're on a much
less
more inexpensive.
Manner.
I think.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you do get to the actual finale, the grand finale attack is tremendous, and it's just as impressive as you'd see in other series.
What I think about Luluco, and being shorter does help it with this, but I think that Luluco follows a near perfect interest curve, which is a game design term that I've talked about on this channel before in my Haikyuu videos.
Yeah.
And that's basically... A lot of people think of the rising action of a story as just like a slow curve upward, but it's actually, you want to start somewhere pretty exciting. My father's frozen to death and I have to be a cop, and then go somewhere mundane and then build up through steps. And
the first episode is packed with that when you see Nova blast through the school and such. So there's a lot of that right at the beginning.
And I think each episode of the 13 episodes builds up as a step above the last one in terms of interest, while also having a very good arc of its own, going with like a falling action, rising action, and everything sort of clicks together so that when you reach that finale, not only is that exciting and well done and over the top and cool, but it feels earned because you've gone from, you know, these little interactions with shoplifting in high school to a whole planet being stolen to Kill la Kill, then was it Little Witch Academia first or Sex and Violence first?
It was Kill la Kill, and then it was Little Witch, and then Sex Violence.
And then Inferno Cup.
Yeah. And then,
In regards to that pacing, by the way, that you're bringing up, the Inferno Cop episode, I never knew, that episode is the perfect calm before the storm.
Yeah.
It is so slow paced that it ends with a good punchline, and then it's just off to the finale.
Yeah.
The show doesn't have
Wonderful.
it's just not like constant neck break speed. It does have like just these small moments where just like when she gets a kiss or when she's reviving and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's just these like little moments that are really, really cute that I really enjoy. Or like when her dad is approving of her going off and doing what she wants to do.
Yeah, definitely. Before I just close out my thoughts real quick, does anyone know if they got the fucking like Kamen Rider voice guy to do the Judgment Gun morphing audio line?
I don't know.
Because it sounds like a fucking Kamen Rider transformation sequence, and if anyone's out there who can answer me, I'm really curious.
I'm gonna
about
check
that.
my anime.
You know what it
list
sounds
right now.
like? It sounds like if a base could be on fire in Dynasty Warriors, that would be the voiceover in English. Fire! Fire, Commander! Fire! I've taken a base.
I think it does remind me of Double the Most, but they do have a lot of different, voice actors doing those belts.
They do.
Fire!
They certainly do. That's more of a personal thing. I just felt like it was similar.
I think it might have actually been Over Justice or somebody else who just doubled down on that. Maybe
We'll have someone correct us in the comments.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
I would be interested to know too, because it did have that very heavy machine gun rocket launcher.
Well, it makes me think of the sound. It makes me think of the sound a toy makes when you press the button, which is what Kamen Rider is built around, selling toys, right?
Hey!
I love Kamen Rider, but I like Kamen Rider a lot. But
Kamen Rider! What I love is it's like, fire! It goes down. It goes down in a way that's great. Like, you can say any word that way.
Yeah.
They're just like, Leo!
Kuga, Agito, Ryuki, Fox.
And the rough digitization and poor speaker makes it sound better.
It sounded a lot to me like the shouts in Metal Slug.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like
I can see that.
Heavy machine gun.
yeah, like the heavy machine gun, rocket launcher.
Big.
Show them your power and attack!
Yeah. It was really nice, too, because at the beginning of the series, I was convinced that Chief Overjustice was Inferno Cop.
Yeah, I
Chief
got that too.
Overjustice is just so great.
Yeah, no, he's great. So I was really satisfied to see that Inferno Cop also got to show up in the show. And the finale's fucking dope. And seeing her transform at the end into, like, Trigger-chan, who was a character design who existed before, who has been shown off before, was really satisfying. Because while it was pretty clear that this was the Trigger love letter show, it wasn't 1,000,000% clear until the very last second that she was actually that character.
It was the origin story of their Sonico.
Yes, exactly.
And what a hype way to end it off with her launching off into space and high-fiving.
With Little Witch Kick giving.
Yeah, the Little Witch teaser. Oh my god.
That was good. Yeah, no, they're tagging him in.
Yeah.
That's why she was flying the other direction. Now it's my turn. Tag me in, bro. Tag me in. And out. 1, 2, 3.
She's going in for a suplex.
She's whispering, "Don't fuck this up. We got this really good now."
Don't screw this up for us. We have a chance.
We can make it if we try. Misty, what did you think of Luluco?
Honestly, I started the show and I didn't really had much anticipation with the very first episode. As you probably saw my reply when I I watched it. I got back to you. I was like, I don't really know where this is going. Yeah. And as I was going into it, I got invested more and more, especially when they started doing the crossover episodes. This is where it really started to get a shine on me. Because you get to see, like, this is not a show I would recommend to people who are getting into anime. They're the newcomer ones. They wouldn't be able to really grasp all the essence of it if you don't know, like, half of the shows, especially in the crossover section.
That's true. It is very inside baseball in that regard.
It is very much
Yeah.
an otaku's anime, like Haruhi Suzumiya.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And the humor as well is really like over the top all the time. It's something that's kind of peculiar to Japan itself. It's not the type of humor you would really get in a Western audience. So you kind of have to grow up to that style too. Like at the very first episode where she gets a handcuff for catching his dad in a block of ice, and then she's freed, and then she's handcuffed again, and then free again. It's always over the top, and it's something that I feel not everyone who would really get into it at first, but if you can appreciate these tiny details, I think it's something that's really, really dope and really like it's very Japanese.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
sense of that sense of humor is something that draws from. Japan has a different legacy of humor styles, basically.
Yeah, they really have a different outlook on it.
They have Rakugo, which is a big part of their culture and their humor DNA, I guess, and then a lot of their theater, like a lot of their the way that they present stories draws from kabuki theater and stuff like that. So there's a tendency in their old art forms
Pacing?
to go over the top, to go balls to the wall with the humor. Like Rakugo is all about that surreal, bizarre behavior and that hard punchline. That's how you.
With Luluco, I would go a step further, and I would point straight at Manzai comedy,
I was about
which
to
is
say,
the
yeah.
like famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we have the straight man and the funny
Yes,
man, right?
yes,
like
that too.
the two-man
Yeah.
comedy group.
Yeah.
Because that's all about like extremely high-speed jokes and like
Quick delivery.
And
Luluco was basically a straight
yeah.
man the whole time, and everyone was acting like crazy people around her.
And-
And her whole point was she was trying to be normal.
yeah, exactly.
And characters who
Yeah.
have a very simple motivation for what they want. Like
Yeah.
Luluco just wants to live a normal life and maybe have a boyfriend. Oh whoops! Oh whoops! Oh whoops!
I do think Luluco is one of the most interesting characters in that sense, though, because her motivation changes wildly throughout the series.
Each season it does.
Every
Yeah.
season, her motivation is like strongly pushed to a completely different thing. And even though her goal is to be a normal girl at the beginning, she ends up actually being like a little bit multifaceted by the end. Obviously, the show is brief, so she doesn't get the character development that you'd get out of longer, more prolonged shows, and it's not really about that in the first place. But for a show so not focused on it, she does come away with quite a bit, actually.
You want to know who's my favorite character in the show?
Shoot,
The assistant of Chief, the justice
chief.
guy.
Secretary.
yeah.
Yeah, the secretary. I don't believe she has any line in the show, but her presence is really like overpowering, and you notice her every time she's there. And it's something that I really enjoyed out of her, because you feel like she's a total badass, but she doesn't do
The
anything.
totally silent secretary just
She's
standing
like
there,
that.
yeah.
She's like that Yakuza in that Simpsons joke where all the mafia are fighting on Homer's turf, and just Homer sees this one Yakuza guy just standing there not doing anything. And he's like, "Marge, we can't go inside. You see that guy right there? He hasn't done anything yet. And you know he's gonna do something cool." And then as soon as they go inside, you hear someone go through a window.
And he's like, "Oh,
but yeah, the secretary is like that silent badass, and she does everything perfectly for sure. She definitely has that feel.
Yeah, I there's a lot of really strong and memorable characters for how little screen time they get. Like the secretary literally gets no lines, and everybody just remembers her presence in every scene in that office.
She probably has some of the most screen time amongst like secondary characters.
But she
in the
doesn't
show,
say a word.
honestly. But I wouldn't be surprised if she had just as much as Overjustice and like more than Lalico and like other characters like that whose presence is almost all down to their incredible ability to impose and their great character designs.
yeah." One character that I felt was a little bit lackluster to me, and you guys are probably going to disagree, is Midori-chan.
Midori.
I feel like they could have put so much more emphasis on her character like development, because you get the second episode or the third episode where it's like she get introduced, and after that I felt like she had some funky one-liners every now and then, but besides that, I felt like her purpose was kind of meh compared to everybody else.
You kind of wish that she did something like at the end to help out.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, like her plot significance is pretty much all the application,
the black hole app.
Yeah.
because she's the vessel of that plot device, and I definitely agree that she's probably the most static of the main characters.
Because, like, at the end, even, like, his father helped, her mother did, but Midori, not
I mean, she helped
really.
with the app, but I mean, Midori's.
Yeah, I guess.
She's more of a vessel for that plot device. I can be down with that.
I like her character as like the sort of bitchy, self-serving, fake best friend.
Yeah.
Who just sort of inserts herself into Luluco's friend circle because she wants to get with the guy she likes, and she's not really a villain, but she's just kind of.
Man, she's more like an
She's
nemesis.
She's an archetypal
Not really.
foil to who Luluco is at the start, and I think by having her stay relatively consistent, it shows more how much Luluco grows over the course of the show.
She's Vegeta.
She's kind of
She's Vegeta. She's the Vegeta.
Yeah.
the thirsty ass green Vegeta.
I feel like with characters
Yeah.
like that, they already went through some kind of life-defining character arc and didn't need to really explain anymore. So the only example I can think of right now, and Liam's gonna hate this, is
Yeah, do it.
the Idolmaster Cinderella girls. Most of the characters get an episode or two dedicated to them, but some fans felt that some characters were kind of left in the dust in terms of character development. But that's because some of the characters like Anzu or Kurari already had like these. They didn't really have any like problems. They were pretty normal, so they didn't have to have an episode dedicated to them just explaining, "Hey, I'm messed up. I need this thing fixed about me." And then meanwhile, you compare them to like the cat girl Miku, who needed quite a number of episodes because she had to learn some things and grow up. So Midori didn't really need any more screen time because, in a sense, she didn't have any real weaknesses she had to overcome.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, pretty much. She was just a bad guy who turned good. I do love that trope of like first boss who becomes party member.
Yeah.
And then immediately
I always
weaker
think
at that
that's fun.
after that point.
Except
Yeah,
the
exactly.
the one sort of distinction is she doesn't really do any jobbing. She just sort of runs away half the time.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
she
yeah.
pulls more of a Dragon Ball era Oolong or Yamcha role than a Vegeta role.
Yeah, I see that.
You know, she
kind of leech on them every time.
yeah. She's opportunistic.
Yeah.
And I'm
Also disrespectful of
That's the kind of way to
authority.
put it.
oh, absolutely, which is great because she becomes a cop.
And Misty gets his old job.
She's great for that cop metaphor.
What's going on? Justice, whatever.
And oh god, man, Justice is such a great character. Over Justice.
I love minimalized characters like that.
He's just like, oh, do you want the job?
Oh,
No, not really.
You gotta get that tone of voice right. Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Justice, justice, justice. Oh, so the girl.
I love how he just lets every single character sort of talk themselves into the inciting incident by just
He doesn't do
pulling
anything.
through them. Yeah.
He just stays put until that one well animated bit with him.
Yep.
And then back to just bones.
A pile of bones from that point forward.
I think if they had the rights to Gurren Lagann, they would have made him more like Lord Genome in appearance or something like that. He was basically like a proxy for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, possibly so.
Yeah. Yeah, that does make sense. You got any other thoughts, Misty?
No, I think that's rounding up my part pretty nicely. You guys already said like all the key things, so I'm good with that.
All right, Taka, what do you got?
Okay, so truthfully, I got a text this morning from Jeff. He's like, "So what'd you think of the show?" And then I responded back to him an hour and a half later. It's pretty good. In that hour and a half time frame, what took place was me
I
going,
wonder.
oh, wait, I need to watch this. So I sat down and watched the entire show in a row. So this is rather fresh in my mind.
So this is extremely fresh for you. Okay,
I guess my biggest takeaway from this is like, while I watch Studio Trigger things, I'm not a big fan of Studio Trigger. I'm like not like I follow all their stuff.
Not
Like,
explicitly.
for example,
yeah.
I enjoyed Kill la Kill for what it is. I guess that's the safest way of saying about Kill la Kill. Like, I'm not going to rewatch it, but I had a good time. Great animation, great combat. One of some of the best combat I've had in a long time in a show next to Drifters. And I love that there's 4 seasons and a final episode. It's pretty fantastic like that, which is, what show did that? And what show did that? The IT crowd. This is the IT crowd of anime. The shorter like three episode seasons being 7 minutes an episode. Yeah. So every season is essentially the length of a regular episode of anime.
Yeah.
Is pretty fantastic. And why I liked that was because it had the short form storytelling and it was paced in a way that kept me engaged. Like I didn't want to stop watching because I was only going to watch enough to make me speak to it, but I ended up watching all of it because it was easier to digest, and I realized I essentially watched a movie. Mm-hmm. I essentially watched a movie in an hour and a half amount of time.
We were talking about this before, but I think the constant breakpoints is what makes the pacing go so rapidly and so well.
Because I was actually curious. I'm like, all right, so now they're in space. What's going to happen? All right, so now what's going to happen?
And then you can find out immediately.
And I find out really quickly. Like, for example, her mom is like, that's like one of my ultimate fetishes is female kamina. That's actually, I don't know why. I need that though. Everything in the first part being like a slice of life school thing, and they play that up pretty heavily, and they wrap that up really quickly. All the dialogue, for example, how Supreme Justice Sama, what's his full name?
Over Justice?
Is it Over Justice?
Yeah, Over Justice. Yeah. I think so, yeah.
It's General Manager of Over
Justice. Over Justice. What I love is like the first episode, you're going to jail, but I didn't do it. Okay, you're free to go. But he actually did it. Who made breakfast? I did. You're going to jail.
He's so amenable to just everybody.
He's like, he looks so intimidating, but he isn't because he just stays put in one position always because they just never animate him.
You know what his personality is a lot like? He's a lot like the judge from Phoenix Wright.
He's very wishy-washy.
Yeah, a little bit.
He'll just roll with anything you say. It's like, okay, you're going to jail. No, I didn't do it.
Hey, come on. You have to go to jail for your crimes. No, I don't. I already said sorry. Stop being a fucking asshole. All right, I'll stop being an asshole. By the way, I want to be a space cop too. Well, you seem like you want to be, so you could be a cop. But he says it with such conviction.
Yeah. All right, you believe in justice. You're a cop now.
And the first part of the plot was played up. He was a very kooky character. Then the second part of the series, when Luluco's mom attacks, they kind of have to unify. Mm-hmm. And then in the end, like the first adventure of Midori, Nova and her is they have to stop this thing. It turns out it's her mom. I'm like, all right, that's absurd. That's completely absurd. Yeah. But it works because they lean heavily into the absurdness of it. Her mom is a space cop who wants to legally pirate things, and her dad is a space police officer. Which I feel like it just changed the words to internet, and you can keep the metaphors the same and just make them more internet related. Then they go to.
And they do a really good tell for that too, where she's living just with her father, but you never really question it too much. You just know the mom's not there, and then when she shows up, it's just a big fucking deal because that character was omitted and contained by omission.
Yeah, that's really good. And then they they tour all the other worlds, which was fine, which I think worked pretty well. They leaned pretty heavily into it, and it pulled itself off. Though they had to be very metaphorical with the Kill la Kill one because they don't own it. Right? They don't own Kill la Kill?
They own that one. They just don't own anything from Gainax, so they can't do Gunbuster, Diebuster, Gorilla.
Yeah, that's fine. But they do
can do references,
Kill la Kill,
yeah.
Well, they reference. Well, for example, her mom's a giant reference. And the way the ship bursts out of the planet in the final act is like, that's such a Gurren Lagann moment. Yeah. And then she merges with the ship. I'm like, all right, yeah, this is definitely going.
It was also like the final assault in Gunbuster episode 5 and 6.
Exactly. And then the whole thing wraps up. All right, here you go. You get space. I'm like, oh, this is too clean. And then the Black Holians show up. And what I love is it's just so fast. It's so quick. And I feel like I'm watching a funnier version of Titan AE.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the anime in 10 years.
I didn't hear the Cosmic Castaway once, which I feel like is a detriment.
Yes.
We should all watch Titan AE and compare them.
I like that movie.
I mean,
we should watch it at MagFest.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, actually.
Do we watch Small Soldiers at Small Soldiers at Con Bravo? I feel like watching Titan AE at MagFest is only important.
Yeah, I feel like that's appropriate.
Overall, I loved it. I loved its pacing. I loved its art. I loved its references, even though I didn't really get what the one in the final episode, the second final episode was. After she died, I didn't know who Inferno Cop was, but now knowing who Inferno Cop is, it's even funnier because it does really feel like a Japanese version of a giant crossover show of everything on Adult Swim.
Well, Inferno Cop has the exact same humor than Over Justice has.
Oh, perfect, because then I'll definitely check that out. Sounds like it'll be up my alley. And
it's really...
If you can write a show with no animation, maybe that's possible for me to do that.
Yeah.
Great actors and great dialogue. Shit.
Well, that's where you're gonna run into some stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot more crude and it's not quite as like well written, but it's still cool. So
Oh, I forgot to mention, at a con, I did see an Overjustice cosplay in a sense. It was someone dressed up as a secretary, and they were carrying a giant cardboard cutout of Overjustice.
Perfect.
Oh, nice.
That would be so dope.
That's the perfect cosplay. All you have to do is light it on fire.
That's rough with cardboard. But the end all, I'd say, yeah, definitely check it out, just because it's not that long.
Yeah, no, it's very, like, I mean, you can watch it in the time that you'd watch one movie on Netflix.
I'm glad you binged it today, so we have an exact metric of how long.
Yeah, no,
it
it
that
was
helps.
perfect. It was from the metric of how honest do I want to be to Jeff right now.
Yeah, that was great, because you shot me a response within what is a reasonable timeline for responding to a text.
He's looking it up on his phone.
Yeah, I'm looking it up on my phone right now. Yeah, so I shot you a message last night asking you about it. Well, you can watch it pretty fast. Each episode is 7 minutes. Is it on Crunchyroll? Yes. I'll take a look tonight. That was at 6:40 p.m.
Yeah, I didn't do that last night.
1:01 p.m. today. What did you think? 1:09, which is after the first episode. It feels like Japanese Looney Tunes, but very self-aware and has a story.
That was my initial response.
Yeah,
to it.
your
It feels
initial
like Japanese
response.
Looney Tunes.
And then at 3:42, I liked it, but I got most of the references. But if I get the name of which one and the detective versus the mob one,
Which was sex, violence, and mock speed.
Sex, violence, and mock speed.
Yeah.
I don't know what this one is.
That's a Japan Animator Expo short. We talked about that a little before.
Exactly.
But that's where Me came from.
Oh, perfect.
And a lot of other cool ones.
Yeah, which, I mean, is kind of what all of the Animator Expo shorts are about, sex and violence at mock speed.
Pretty
And
much,
robots.
And robots. Man, Cassette Girl was good. Cassette Girl was really good.
Someone just sent me a photo, which makes me very happy. It's that.
My friends wouldn't shut up about Hammerhead for a long time.
It's Otto leaving a business, and it's just you know that part from The Simpsons where Otto leaves a business and goes, "Man, that is flagrant false advertising." It is to replace it with Yuri on Ice. That was pretty good. I figured I should mention that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it is kind of an inaccurate tagline. So, is that
That's it for me.
That's everything for you. Okay. So, I think we've gone through a lot of what everybody liked about this show. I had one thing I liked, and then I have a fundamental question to pose to the rest of the panel about this show. One thing that I like that we haven't really brought up yet is that Luluco's emotional arc and her romance with Alpha Omega Nova is actually a really strong, positive thing that I think is done really well.
Yeah, totally.
It starts as something superficial, and then it's like, oh, this was absolutely superficial, and then it's like, but there's something more behind that, and you can get to something more behind that, and something like a superficial schoolgirl crush, and
Evolves into...
And I love how they like literalize. It feels like the end of the world. It feels like she might as well be dead. And she does literally die. They rip her heart out, but then it's like, no, you can love again. And she keeps spawning these useless trinkets, and eventually overwhelms the final boss with them. So
I'm really glad you brought that up because I had forgotten the details of that, and I also adore how it's focused about like that kind of like valueless first love, that like what's the word, superficial first love or what have you, you know. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Good pull.
Yeah. A tweet I made a long time ago that got a good amount of coverage was, you know that scene from Simpsons where Ralph, at this very moment, you can see his heart break in two?
Yeah.
I just replaced that with Luluco, and it worked perfectly.
Right here.
that is a perfect moment. Yeah. But, oh my God. I just think that it really did handle that well while also like making all of the characters likable and making you root for them. You know, like
It was a really good ensemble cast.
and
Better than it had any right to be for being 7 minutes long.
And as concepts go for a villain, like I want to steal, like I can steal everything. Oh,
I want to shoplift.
I've shoplifted Ogikubos across the galaxy. Your town isn't really a town; it's just a concept, and that concept belongs to me because everything belongs to me. But the one thing I've never stolen is the most worthless thing in the universe: your schoolgirl crush. And then he just takes it to smash
a
it.
pure schoolgirl crush. The most worthless thing in the universe.
And the notion that he's conquered everything worth conquering and has moved on to valueless things because after owning all those things, they no longer have a value.
That's my life, pretty much.
I really like that. And yeah, it is. I saw you got more Nutshack DVDs.
I own a monopoly on the Nutshack on DVD. You can't find it really anywhere.
Is that for the nut job?
You have bought more copies of Nutshack than the entirety of the United States has in the last 10 years.
Because like I got all the games I want. I got all the IMA I want. I guess I'll just start buying these $20 Cory in the house posters and stick them in the bathroom. My life has
You
become
could
shit
save
posting.
your money.
Yeah.
Leave
Or
it in
I can buy these
leave it in
Cory
a
in the house
trust.
posters.
So you're not familiar with the meme, it's the Nutshack?
No, I'm not familiar.
Well,
That's probably for the best.
yeah.
I mean, I feel like I should have the meme explained to me. Is it like the dead gorilla that we care about still?
Yeah.
It's a Siva Gunner meme. If
Oh boy, I don't know what that is either. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
There's many
don't,
rabbit holes to go down.
boy.
Siva Gunner is the greatest YouTube channel in history, though. Not really, but
That is Kojima World Order. Thank you very much.
I have done my fair share of jokes and mashups for that channel.
Apparently, there are no copies of Nutshack on Amazon.
I bought them all.
you got collector's editions.
Wait, you got them all from .ca?
No, I bought 3 copies of the Nutshack when they were like $15, and now I see them from
Check.uk. He hasn't gone there yet.
Yeah.
I can go to UK.
See, Taka, he doesn't have to invest. He's buying things that are like gaining
Dude,
value
you did
over
what you're
time.
you're doing in real life what I did in World of Warcraft with basic level fucking herbs, you son of a bitch. Are you trying to mark up the
I
price?
did that with earbuds in TF2. I collected a bunch of earbuds and I sold them back for a lot.
Fucker.
Nice.
That and Max heads.
You scumbag.
I bet you bought nothing but head shavers with that too.
But yeah, so the romance aspect, I think, was a very strong part of the story. But the question that I kind of want to pose to everybody is, metaphorically speaking, what do you think the show is about?
Member Gynax? Member Trigger? Boy, I member. No, obviously not. I'd say what it is it's an interesting deconstruction. It is essentially a magical girl show. Mm-hmm. It is essentially in concept, but it's like it's spoofing alternative shows. It's like spoofing. It knows like Studio Trigger knows that they make alternative shows.
Yeah,
their art styles very very alternative. Their storytelling methods very alternative. They're very wacky with what they do. This did feel like a love letter to their original all their series, but this was a really well constructed like interdimensional story between all their stuff. This was a big thing where they were kind of making fun of themselves, but also created a meaningful character, which created the origin story of their original character, which you said was Trigger-chan.
Trigger-chan.
And I think that's really interesting because she herself is a gun. Mm-hmm. That's the thing, and you pull the trigger.
Yep.
And that's what finally ended the thing that was shoplifting.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's what that metaphor is. I'm going to assume it's downloading. I got to assume it's downloading.
It's piracy of their. See, okay, I'll let everybody toss theirs out, and then I've got.
The Price is Right method. I see you're going to get the best answer.
I'm not sure if I feel like I know a direct metaphor for it or anything like that, because I feel like when you go through all of the seasons, and particularly the 3rd season, which is all crossover episodes, I feel like it's hard to pin down one specific metaphor that applies to all of them. So I can't say I really have a metaphor for it in a direct sense or anything. And I kind of just agree with Taka, where I feel like it is a love letter to their works and a love letter to, I don't know, the fact that they were able to regroup together as Trigger and stuff. But I don't, I wouldn't say I have a good metaphor for your question,
Okay.
Jeff.
You want me to go?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so besides like the morals of love at the end, which I think were really cute, what I got out of it at the end was, gee, I really love anime. Because with a lot of things you see in this show,
Yeah.
you've seen them before in different to different levels of success, and they like. I think her arc was pretty full. It's just you skip over all the filler stuff you didn't need. At the end of it, it's just like a celebration of anime, and specifically Trigger's anime. But
Yeah.
it's just like, this is why I watch anime. I want to get this whole like big adventure, except now I got in a 90-minute chunk in this abridged truncated form I enjoyed.
I love how good Inferno Cop is at giving pep talks too. Like, that's a really sweet emotional moment.
Of all people to give pep talks to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Real fast, not to take away, I completely forgot during my bit, but I want you to understand, I've never seen Inferno Cop, so when he was making the food, put it to his mouth, and it just disappeared, I died. I went like, oh my god, not nothing, just no animation, not allowed, it's just gone.
You'll like Inferno Cop then.
Oh man, it's
will.
just this non-animation style that it leans heavily into it. I really enjoy it.
Inferno Cop was made in 13 hours with a budget of what we found in our couch cushions.
Boy, can you tell? Just gonna flame effect behind this guy who's pointing, who's gesturing this way.
Yeah. So, do you have a theory, Misty?
Kind of. I feel like the whole Luluco anime is somewhat of an anthology to everything that Trigger has made and everything that they've worked on. With all the reference and the crossover, it really connected with me. Like, every tidbits that they made, and to have like them all be back assembled together, and in somewhat of a countdown. Like, I'm not sure if they're put back in the order that they were made, like from the newest to the oldest ones, but I felt like it had some kind of connotation, like going down, and then you finish with Trigger-chan, which is the icon that they had for the longest time.
Yeah.
So it felt like somewhat of a countdown as to what they've done so far.
I think that's actually very close to what I was going to say, which is that I think, metaphorically speaking, Luluco is Trigger, and her dad is Gynax. Her dad, who gets frozen and is useless for most of the anime, but because he gets broken into pieces, and he just would be representative of Gynax. And maybe I'm going out on a limb here, but I think that like that initial breakaway is something to the effect of maybe perhaps when they broke away from Gynax originally, their initial thing was, we just want to make anime. We want to make normal anime for a bit. And they did make one anime that was, I think it was Trigger that did that superpower.
Yeah, this high school where everyone has power.
Yeah, they did.
And that was,
I forgot the title
which
of
was
it.
an adaptation of a light novel.
And that was a very, like, we want to make normal anime. We want to be normal. And then
it was very by the books.
And then they got pulled in slowly by like expectations that people have, and maybe Trigger resisted that at first. I don't know the full story of the studio, and I'm just sort of speculating based on the anime.
I was gonna say Kill la Kill actually does predate that.
That's so Kill la Kill, Kill la Kill does predate it. That's right, but trying to create their own identity apart from what Gynax was, I think, was something that they were trying to do, and then they just embraced the craziness to an extent.
What I like about that is like they tried to break away, but at the same time they kept like a small bit of him, like keeping the brain for
the intelligence,
a tiny bit. So
the intelligence of Gynax.
So what they learned and what they enjoyed from Gynax, they kept it, but everything else they wanted to be themselves instead.
And then the big corporate anime industry shoplifted lots of things from them, but they still kept that soul of what Gynax used to be about and what they're about now, and they're doing new things with it. And then it is sort of this tour of all of their accomplishments so far. And the way that it concludes is just like there's this thing that it's like this thing that's very important to you, this love that's very important to you. It's useless, it's worthless, it's nothing. And then they turn around and it's like, no, this is fun, and that's the most worthwhile thing in the world, really. And I think that you could perhaps take Luluco's love as a metaphor for just, we're making the anime that we want to make, like Imaishi specifically. We're making this thing that we want to make because we're passionate about it and we enjoy doing it. And it doesn't have to be the most profound thing in the world.
It doesn't have to
because
have
it's
a point.
It's
necessarily.
meaningful
Got
to
a lot
us
of heart.
that
Got a
we're-
lot of heart.
It's got heart, and it's meaningful to us that we're doing it. You know, and that's all that. And I don't know if that was 100% intentional, but I feel like the journey of going from being part of Gainax to being their own thing really informed some of the emotions behind the arc of Luluco. And how proud they felt of how far they'd come by the end of it. So that's kind of my working theory for what Luluco is, quote unquote, really about.
Well, see, you got to go last. So you got the best answer. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Well, I was saving it off, and that was kind of a gamble because at the same time, you know, one of you says it, and then suddenly I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I thought all along.
Oh, I got nothing. I got nothing left.
I'm that.
Quick! What cool trivia do I know about the
the
show?
guns
so
are
I don't-
penises.
Yeah.
I win.
Oh shoot! You reminded me. I forgot to ask you, Liam. Since this is the second episode of the Weebcast, do you know any interesting trivia about the number 2?
Esoteric trivia, you can say.
About the number 2.
Is the second one?
This is the second weekly
No,
Weebcast.
this is. I'm afraid this isn't my job. This is
No,
Woolie's
this will
job.
be. This will be.
and I'm
also
also.
doing the
esoteric fact
backdown.
about the number 2.
I hate this. I hate this bit so much.
Yeah, you know what? I hate saying ghost snap, but you fucking do it 8 years later like a fucking parrot, though, okay? Because this monkey dances.
Taka, I want to audition.
Ghost Nappa! Here's an esoteric fact about number 2. Beyond 2 souls.
I want to audition for your show.
Game made by David Cage, who also needs to be stopped.
I think everybody on this podcast can agree with that. Liam for his deep abiding grudge against it, or against David Cage, and Misty.
Hey, I think what he does is great because nobody else does it, and there's a value there. But he's got to hire some fucking editors.
Oh no, I made the bad game.
He makes the bad game better than anyone else makes the bad game.
I can't hate him for that.
No, exactly.
Yeah, he makes the bad game, and of course, Misty, you've got to hate him because there can only be one bald French guy.
Yeah, and I got that spot for myself, so fuck that guy.
You are the king of the bald Frenchmen.
Represent.
But yeah,
You gotta keep mentioning that he's bald. You don't mention the fact that he's also very nice to people.
he is very nice. Misty's one of the most. I mean, all of us Canadians are pleasant.
Yeah. Well,
Well, I mean, like,
I had a, like
I mean,
the first
Pat.
time we met. First of all, I never expected you to be that tall. Like usually, I'm the tall guy around, and I was like, oh
I know
shit,
how-
someone around my
I know how
size.
that feels.
Yeah, I mean,
For everyone who doesn't know, Jeff, aka professional shitbag Mother's Basement, is 6'5".
6.
You're 6'6". Stop bragging.
He's.
Well, you know what they
big-ish.
say. Every guy adds an inch. But
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff, I got a plan how to get me to Japan with you for free.
Okay.
So I'm gonna jump onto your back, and everyone will just think it's a Chaozu exploding backpack.
Oh, that's a perfect plan. Except that's how Yazi's getting on the plane already.
yeah, she's 5'6".
Oh, fuck, okay, you got-
but
okay,
a foot
you got
short,
it.
and that's a pretty good comparison.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I might be the tallest anime YouTuber. We discussed this at like
Brennan. Brennan's
but
the
Brennan
tall-
doesn't have an anime YouTube channel.
Yeah, Brennan
Yes.
is featured on.
Jeff
Brennan
bragging,
is.
I may be the tallest out of a pool of 7 people.
there's like 30 or 40 sizable.
There are dozens.
There are
of
dozens of us, and I'm the most.
I love that gift. There are dozens of us. Dozens. Love that gif.
We should stop making fun of Arcadia's fan base, though.
Yep.
Dude, if you keep throwing shade at them, how else will they grow? You need a lovely young flower must have sunshine and water and shit because it grows on shit.
Yeah. But
Do you think Austin's hair is like a troll doll and it'll just keep going upwards and he'll be taller than you eventually?
yeah, I think that's a distinct possibility.
Austin looks like Seth Rogen's skeleton.
Everybody who doesn't know Arcadia, which is everybody listening to this podcast, is going to be very confused.
Austin literally looks like he should be making me my coffee.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to put a picture of Austin in the corner of the thumbnail just so that people understand this podcast.
Austin literally looks like Boku no Eruption if it had a physical form. The word itself.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, he looks just like that guy.
He looks exactly like the guy from Boku no Pico. You're right.
He looks just like his Japanese weeb name implies. Mm-hmm. I love him, by the way. He's actually coming up here not this coming weekend, but next weekend.
I know, and I'm missing him, and I'm so sad.
That's because you're going down to California.
And he's in California right now.
Right.
Irony.
But yeah. Anyway, we've gotten a little off topic, but I think we're basically to the end of our opinions on Luluco. I think everybody in this podcast would recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Length specifically.
Without a doubt.
Justice.
It's one of my five. I'd say it's in my top 5 anime of this year so far.
Yeah, I would say I totally recommend it as well. Although, like Metsier brought up earlier, something I did not mention, nobody else mentioned actually. He is totally right that this show is pretty inside and is not for anyone who's not already into anime.
For newcomers, probably not the best entry spot, but like if you've seen everything else that Trigger has made, this is something you can definitely enjoy.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's got some deep cuts that it references, but I mean that makes it all the better. And I think the core storyline is still enjoyable, and it's short enough to be enjoyable, even if you're not familiar with everything.
I would love a dub of this so badly, though.
Oh yeah,
I would love, especially if they really played up how cartoony it is, like really amp that shit to 11.
Get Looney Tunes.
Well, it's like it's like 11:30 right now Eastern. It must be. What time is it for you?
8:30.
8:30. We're 3 hours.
8:30
on the West Coast.
You can probably finish the dub before.
That's true.
You can finish dubbing the whole thing.
I'm gonna give myself justice because that's all I want, and I'll cast Ant. I'll cast Antfish as the dad. See what else do I do? How else do I cast this?
Inferno Cop is yourself again.
No. I only give myself one character. Oh, Inferno Cop, I get Chris Sabat to play.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I bet Christopher R. Sabat, the voice of Zoro and Piccolo.
He could do it.
What's going on, man?
Who would you give Midori?
Oh, Midori, I get Sarah Ann Williams. And you may all know her because actually she was a character in Madoka. In Medaka. And she was also Jinx in League of Legends.
Wait, Madoka or Medaka?
It's a different show. But what's the name of the girl who played? What's the name of the girl with the?
They are different shows. Yeah.
Who has like the band, special band powers?
The drummer chick in Madoka?
No, the girl with the power of having a band from Kill la Kill.
Oh no!
Yeah. She's the dub actress of No.
Oh yeah.
Oh okay.
Yeah, that makes sense because they are the same voice actor in Japanese too. So
bingo.
Yeah.
The dub, and she was dubbed very well in the dub.
God, no, it's top.
She actually, I think she was the high point of the Kill la Kill dub.
Yeah,
shit on everyone else in there.
I'd say it would be the rich guy from the other school.
Ben Diskin is fucking great though. Ben played number 1 and number 2 in the Codenames Kids.
You want to know a funny story about him?
Yeah. No, he was also Sai in Naruto. So you can't fuck around with this guy.
Okay, so I met him for the first time at Anime Expo this year, and I told him
at our booth, right?
No, I've met him elsewhere, not at your booth.
Hey, fuck you. We were the place to be.
I went to your booth.
I met him over at a JoJo panel. So I was talking to him and said, "You were Eric Sparrow in Tony Hawk's Underground 1, right?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh my god, that was my favorite character." And he says, "Wow, no one's ever said that about Eric Sparrow before."
That's pretty good.
If you don't recall, he's like the worst, like the most assholeless friend turned enemy in video game.
He's also one of the characters from Hey Arnold. Like, his career stretches all the way back to, like, Kindergarten Cop, because he was one of the kids in Kindergarten Cop.
He's an OG voice actor.
No, dude.
I mean, and he did, like, a talk about how to be a better voice actor at AX, didn't he?
Yeah, he's done stuff like that, but he's, like, had such a breadth of experience. Like, he's Hulk's son in, like, Smash Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which and he's Eddie Brock in Spectacular Spider-Man. Then he's the sexual guy, Cezale Grants from Bleach. Like, he's all over the place. He plays tons of different characters.
And he's Joseph Joestar, which makes a lot of people really jealous.
And he's Joseph Joestar. Like, he has such an array of work. So many different kinds of characters. He's such a great character actor. You'll never know who he plays. You'll be like, oh wow, he's in this. I'm like, of course he is. He's a great actor.
His range is incredible.
Oh, absolutely, and he loves doing anime.
It's good that we have talented people like that who actually give a crap about anime now.
Yeah, it didn't always used to be that.
Yeah, I mean, since the 90s, people have started really giving a crap about doing anime justice.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I don't want to view the conversation that way.
Yeah.
We talked about that a bunch last week. But
yeah, we did talk a lot about dubs. Now it's time to get into our weeks.
Trying to keep our
And I am going to ask Misty, what'd you get up to this week?
Oh my! I did a lot.
Stop bragging.
Most of you, a lot of you maybe know me. I do anime top 10s and stuff like that, so I always have like one or two running in the background. But lately, I've been kind of low on that because I've been working on my very own anime that I'm creating. It is coming along super well. A lot of people.
What's it called?
Chronexia and the Eight Seals.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, it's based on a novel that I wrote about 10 years ago, and last summer, a little bit before that, like maybe September last year, people asked me to translate it to English, so we did, and a lot of people loved it, and they wanted an anime out of it. So a company, a small studio reached out to me back in April, and they were looking for a project, which I had in my book. And
wow, awesome!
Yeah, and I said, you know what, let's give it a go. So I pitched the idea to my subscribers on my channel, and everybody went bonkers about it. I didn't really expect that reception, but everybody was down with it. So we went ahead, and we really had like an awful pitch back then, and with that tiny like 2 weeks of work, we presented like a small beta of what it could maybe become, and like I said, people really loved it. And from that point, we made I got into contacting a lot of people. I also mentioned it to you, Taka, I think when we met at Anime
Yes,
Expo.
you did.
And like everybody really thought it was a good idea, so we went full ham on it. I reached out to like professional voice actors. Everybody just loved the idea. We got so many cool people on board. Like for every tiny segment, we got like incredible music composer. We got great voice actor. We wanted to have like make it somewhat of a family project, like so everybody can pitch in a little bit of it. So it's like YouTube's anime. Like Ruby kind of did their own thing, and they have the company, they have the budget. We really didn't have that. So like the whole budget comes from like donations from people who love and want to support us, and to have like this kind of
You've got a
family
Patreon,
feeling.
right?
Yeah. The Patreon is where we get like 95% of our of our
The
funding.
Patreon is patreon.com/Chronexia?
Misty
/
Chronexia.
Misty
Yeah.
Chronexia. Okay. Just so
Yeah.
people know, if you feel like supporting a YouTube born anime,
OVA.
OVA,
YouTube OVA, an original visual animation.
that is from what I've seen, like from what they did with the shoestring budget, it was already pretty impressive. And how they're going forward sounds really impressive. So I would say
How far did you see of it?
I can't.
Did you see the opening?
I
we
saw
made?
the opening that you guys made, and once you guys have that like fully touched up with the production, your final production values, because I know that you're getting more funding as you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that opening is like it's not an opening anymore. It's like more of a trailer.
Yeah.
Everything that was made out of that has been scrapped.
Well,
Characters have been redesigned.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something, Misty.
He's gonna tell you something.
If you need somebody to storyboard an opening and then also analyze it on his channel, well,
you're gonna have a blast because we're redoing like the whole opening. We're keeping the same audio track that we had because everybody just
Don't
loves
fix
it
what's
so
not
much.
broken.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just gonna rehaul the old visuals because we kind of rushed it in less than a month, and some segments of it weren't really up to what I really wanted. And the studio also kind of did it on their own, and they just like, oh wait, we're gonna show you once it's done. And I was like, yeah, okay. And when they came out to me with the result, I was like, yeah, that's not really what I had in mind. So this kind of became a better trailer than what we originally had. But from that point, like we're working on a website that's called Task World, and every segment that they put it on the website, and I can look at it and be like, oh, this isn't exactly what I want, so you can tweak it a little more. And there should finish the visuals by tonight, actually. Tonight, yeah. Today was their deadline for all the visuals. It's like 98% done. We have a few more scenes to color. Then they're gonna compose everything together, and then it's gonna go to the Foley guys, which are the sound mixer, the guys that are gonna do the sound effects and everything. And these guys are gonna have about a week or two to do the old episode, and after that it goes back to me, and then I do the final tweak with the voice actors. If I find they're lackluster, I might recast some people.
Oh man, I hope I pass that test. The awkward silence is palpable. My God.
No. It's because
Taka just got fired.
I can't really give out.
Wow, that sucks.
I can't really give out names for now. But
oh Jesus.
Jesus!
Your job you've been fired, Taka.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to abridge your series out of spite.
But yeah, I hope there's...
honestly, you're one of the person that I'm most proud to have like on my team.
Dude,
so,
thank you.
It would really take a lot for me
What if I got really racist? Like, really quickly. And said my views especially spoke for the show. That might... I mean, you might have to have a conversation with me. Hey, dude. Could you tone it down a bit? but with more of a French accent.
Yeah, exactly. I just hope that the opening's got a lot of hidden details in it. Yeah. That's all I'm hoping.
That's all Jeff is concerned with. Story could be terrible if that intro's good and with lots crammed in there.
I'm on board.
Yeah, we're hoping. Like, we had so much intricacy put into the lyrics of the songs that's really relatable to the story itself. That I just want to be able to convey it visually as well. And we're still not sure if we're going to go with like an abstract kind of opening, kind of like what Yuri on Ice did, which is really simplistic, but it still does pack a punch.
Yeah.
Kind of. And or go with the traditional character running in the field, because that's really meaningful.
I mean, seriously, we can talk about this after the show, but I have always had ideas for an anime opening.
I would love to hear
They are running up a hill, right?
Of course. They have to run up a hill. Doves have to fly through the air.
Can they stand on a cliff edge and like stare with the wind blowing at their hair? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Can we
get we had that originally.
Are they going to reach out to the sun and grab a little bit at the end?
Yeah, we had that in the very first opening. They were like standing on top of a mountain and like a turnaround turntable type of thing.
And of course, you have to have that moment where everybody jumps up and the title appears in front of them.
And then it says it was produced by Square Enix.
That's a callback, audience.
You know,
nailed it.
That's the one. But like
Jeff, you're like fucking Am from the famous book I Have No Mouth But I Must Direct an Anime.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not familiar with that. I'm
That's
not familiar with
fucking
that
what
franchise.
it is here.
It's about a man or a machine god who takes people and basically puts them in this underground labyrinth where they have really good ideas for anime, but they can't make any of them.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So you're saying Tight
tortures
Kubo
them
won't
with
be
this.
down there?
Yeah, no,
Okay,
no,
okay, good,
no,
good.
no.
Bingo.
He actually sometimes he'll drop down things like a storyboard artist to work with them, or
No.
a production team.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
it
No,
won't be all the way
Here's the
good
thing.
either.
It's a series of games of chance, and they have to win, and whatever they win that's the extra person they get on their team. Like, this game will be for one storyboard artist. Da-da. It's like this terrible death game. This one will be for a mid-level production voice actor.
And then every time that they almost get to the point where they can make it, marketing comes in and tells them they have to change things.
That happens a couple of times. If you land on marketing, it's like spinning a wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the horror novel I'm living in. But yeah, like that legitimately sounds like it's so exciting to see somebody come out of YouTube and be able to make like an original series like that.
Well, it's everything that we're doing right now is like merely the pilot episode of the show. It all gonna depends on like if it flies, if it crash and nobody really likes it. If we get 100,000 views, like there's no point in us making this.
That's the end of it.
Yeah,
Right.
but if we like break 2 million in less than a month, then we're gonna be like, yo, this is something we can push on. And
Are you like considering alternative financing if you succeed, like Kickstarter or the like, or would you go to a company or something? Not to pry for details or anything if you're not comfortable with sharing. Just curious.
well, the thing is, like, we wanted to deal with, let's say, put the show on Netflix or Crunchyroll, like streaming platforms that. But to be able to do so, you need to have actual content and be like, this is what we have. Does that fit the type of contents you would like to have on your streaming platform? Because right now, the only thing we have is like this very first trailer we did back in July, which is the first opening we did. And that's really not representative of what we have at the moment. So we have to produce the first episode and then see, depending like if it works out. We really like, if it doesn't really work out, we're still going to do like episode 2, maybe 3 to like give it some pacing. Maybe after a few episodes, people are going to get into it more. Mm-hmm. But
3-episode rule.
Yeah, exactly. And if by that point, if by that point, like, we're struggling, because I've invested a lot of my personal money in it to make it to make it running. But like, I can't keep doing that. Like, I have a baby on the way. I have
at a certain point, it's got to succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
we're doing this for the fun, but I don't want to ruin myself over it.
Of course.
Now,
I mean, passion can only take you so far on that project. I'm really pulling it for it to succeed, because like between this and Indivisible, I'd better be able to fucking storyboard some kind of anime opening at some point. No.
Well, I kind of want to also use this as a beacon of hope for people who wants to do this, and they see me like succeeds, and I'm just a guy out of content. Like, I'm nobody, and I had people who believed in me in my content, and I managed to do it like that. But anybody, if you really put the effort into it, it's gonna work out. You just have to put like countless hours in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm pulling for you for that reason too, because like, I mean, I think everybody who's on YouTube has some kind of
big project.
Yeah, like projects that they want to make. Like you get into YouTube either because you have a creative drive, or you have no chin and you want to make fun of other people in order to undercut their personal value.
Also to ramble for 20 minutes.
While saying nothing of value yourself. But
it's good that you can laugh at yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But Yeah, I think most people who get into YouTube and most people who get into creating content online in general, like, they have a direction that they'd like to go. They have something that they'd like to make. And the more people succeed at doing that, the more companies are going to be willing to take a chance on, okay, this is a creative person with a sizable audience that is clearly putting out some kind of good idea. Let's get them in a room and see if they have ideas that we can turn into something marketable, you know?
And in my case, like, I can't really speak for others, but like doing top 10s, it's not what I plan to do for 40 years. At some point, I wanted to like step up my game and maybe become like a TV producer or like somebody that's gonna be beyond just making anime top 10s on YouTube. So this was like, it's a stepping stone into like something maybe greater in my life.
Yeah. I mean, your top 10s have done really well for you because...
Yeah, they have. They really have built my legacy so far, and I wouldn't have like the groundings that I do right now if it weren't for these. So I'm really not dismissing them. It's just at some point when you're a creator, you tire yourself out of doing something if it's not always fresh. And for a lot of my top 10s, it's copy paste, just change the titles, change the text, and beyond that, it's always the same routine. Mm-hmm. People like it, so why change something that works and people enjoy? But personally, it doesn't challenge me, so I feel no emotional investment into doing them forever.
Yeah, the business, like, it from a business perspective, it's very good to have something that you can put a semi-minimal amount of effort into and make a lot of money off of. I say on the Weebcast, which is the thing that is that for me.
He admitted it here,
use
folks.
promo code.
Yeah,
Mother's Basement.
go to patreon.com/Mother's Basement and crunchyroll.com/basement. But no,
don't. He doesn't pay for my food.
Yeah.
He keeps saying yet, like it matters.
I bought you pizza like a week ago.
I know, Jeff. I didn't say I wasn't being hypocritical.
But
the people weren't there for that.
Yeah, that's right. They weren't there for that. They were here for tonight when I didn't buy you sushi.
Exactly.
Like an asshole. Yeah, like it's good to have that thing that reliable source of money, but it's not necessarily creatively satisfying.
Not always.
Exactly.
To have something that doesn't challenge you.
I know for a lot of people it's like, oh, woe is me. I got money, but I'm not loving what I do. And it's kind of like a little bit hypocritical to want to do something else when you're doing something that's already so successful and so many are trying to do and they're just like struggling like crazy.
The thing is, creatives, however, always desperately seek out more.
Yeah.
We always desperately seek out what's the next step though? Where do I go next in my career? Where can I go from here? Where can I go in the future? Where do I want to be?
Yeah.
No one wants to just sit contently with their usual content. They want to try and change everything. That's why I'm doing this podcast now with Jeff, because it's something brand spanking new, and I like doing it.
Yeah.
I like talking. I'm trying not to talk over people too much, because I did that a fair amount last recording. But this time...
and people gave him almost as much shit in the comments for that as people are going to give us shit this week for doing a podcast that is 2 times as long as the show that we're talking about.
That's true. Also, the last time I was here, I read this in the comment section.
Oh, boy.
Last time I was
You don't go down there. You don't go down there.
Remember being first? Boy, I remember.
Boy, I remember. Oh. Oh, God. But yeah, while you're scrolling through that, I just want to say, like, in a weird, like, it's nice to have a reliable source of income, but at the same time, in a weird way, you don't want to get to that semi-hellish point of existence that people like, from what I have heard, PewDiePie reached at a certain point, where you've created a character who you hate that you just did because you thought it was funny for a little while, and you're stuck doing it because that's where the money is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really not fun place to be. And I mean, that's why I've tried not to. I tried early on to not pigeonhole myself into just being the OP guy. I tried to I do enough of those that people keep coming back to my channel because they know that they're going to get what they came for. But I try to surprise people with a game review or a scene analysis or a fight analysis, and hit a broad enough point that I'm not getting bored with what I'm making. Because once
variety is the spice of life.
Yes.
So what was the comment that you were looking for?
Oh, nothing. I didn't find it.
Oh, you didn't find it.
They deleted it. They were afraid.
Yes.
You won.
No, I just got lazy. I think that's more of it.
All right. So was there anything else that happened in your week really quick? Because we do have to move on and get through everybody else.
Yeah, no, not much. Like, that's what we're crunching on right now. We've been rushing to get, like, the visuals done. And if they do, well, we're looking forward a release for November 24th.
Alrighty.
Wow. Okay. Cool. I guess I'll be watching that from. No, that's as soon as I get back from America. So I'll give that a watch as soon as I get back.
Yes.
I hope you do. I hope everyone enjoys it.
I do too. I hope you haven't made a crappy anime, Misty.
Well, honestly, I'm sure a lot of people are just gonna be like, "Oh, you spent 6 months making this; it's shit." But then we have little budget and a small cast of people of like 6 person to make this.
You know, like that's the beauty of making something, right? You're painfully aware of your own content's weaknesses.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't seen your video, your anime, and I'm not gonna assume things about it. But like, as your first production, it's gonna have weaknesses, and people coming out of the woodwork just to say, "Oh, this looks like shit," like that's valueless. That doesn't matter, and those people are not. I don't feel like they're the target audience for this. You know, I feel like you definitely need to get in with the people who actually give a shit about the idea, the notion that this is new anime. This is maybe a new production company, maybe a new future for interesting different types of anime. And so, yeah, those people can just go fuck themselves.
Yeah, and the thing is about the anime, this is the first time we're going to release something that I'm really proud of. Like,
awesome.
I'm not going to look
really
back.
cool, man.
I'm not going to look back and be like, oh, this could have been better. This, at this point in time, is the absolute, like, 120% that I can do. And I have no shame about it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really good that you feel that way.
That's a good
it.
thing to be able to say about anything that you're making is this is the pinnacle of what I'm capable of right now, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, and a lot of people were really understanding about that. They were like, oh, wait until you're satisfied with it before you release it. And that's what we did, and I'm really glad.
That's great, man.
And with the pilot especially, that's important. Anyway, we do need to move on.
Yes.
So
yes,
Thomas,
please.
Thomas, what did you do during Mr. Chronexia's week?
What?
What did you do
understand
during
any of that,
Misty
sorry.
Chronexia's week?
I'm just giving you shit.
Okay, so I did a lot of game playing and a lot of reviewing over this last week. I beat Titanfall 2 and Call of Duty in the same week.
Yeah.
I also had to review a very lackluster VR game called Weeping Doll for the PS4. Don't play it. It's a $10, but it's 30 minutes long, and it's not worth your time. I'm sorry to whoever developed it.
So
I couldn't see the credits because we were playing in VR, so the credits were so small I couldn't even read them. So
Are you telling me that Are you telling me that virtual reality has a pretty bad pretty bad selection of games so far?
Are you saying that
it leaves me with a bad resolution.
Are you telling me a meme doesn't have a good selection of games?
I like VR?
I know.
We've been over this last
I'm
week.
joking. I want to be. Right now I want to be on the right side of both. If it works out, that's great. If it doesn't, I was right the whole time.
Yep.
And oh god, I mean, Thomas, you've been playing that Hatsune Miku simulator, right?
No, I actually skipped out because
that's a thing?
okay, so
No, man. That's the wrong one.
there is a Miku PS4 game. It's not Project Diva X, and it's not that VR one. It's one that you can currently get in Japan, and it just got rated in Germany. It's called Project Diva Future Tone. And what it is an arcade port of all the Miku songs from the past almost decade. No, not decade, maybe. 7 years.
7 years.
So, this game, for $80, gives you 220 songs.
That's not bad.
It's the fucking best.
Yeah, that's really good.
So, all our Miku games, throw them in the trash now, because that's all I need. basically.
I really wanted to hear about the experience of waving your PlayStation Move controllers at Hatsune Miku on
Well, I
stage,
do do that with Final Master Cinderella Girls. In fact, I'll link you a video of me later doing that, and it's great.
Yeah, Thomas is high-level crowd cheering.
This is the future of anime.
Hi. I guess besides that, I'm working with 2 projects related to Liam that I'm not allowed to go into, but yeah. And at some point, I really do want to get my 3rd mashup album out. I've been waiting for that for a while. It's the 4th if you count the Love Live one I did.
Do you have a theme for the next one, or?
So I think what I'm doing with all of them is the main song for each is based on a cosplay I've done, but they're all basically anime and game mashups. This next one's Kill la Kill related.
Yeah, for sure. I love the Love Live mashup album. It's one of my most prized.
You said
possessions.
you don't normally listen to music because you're some kind of freak, so it makes me proud that you listen to my mixing of black people music with yellow people music. I appreciate that.
It's great. No, I adore it.
Oh, that's my legacy now. Just shit posting memes all the fucking time.
Statement, yeah.
Shit posting in real life.
This whole election
Yeah.
is shit post.
Hey, we're not going there. We're not going there.
So what did you... I want to ask real quick, because I kind of glossed over it. What did you think of Titanfall 2? I enjoyed Titanfall 2. What about you?
I also enjoyed the Titanfall 2.
Great conversation.
It is the most
Better than the
innovative
first
shooter I played. No, that's from Superhot. Sorry. It's rivaling Doom for me at this point, which is a huge statement because Doom was going to be like my game of the year. Second is what's it called? Overcooked. I forgot my own games are like Overcooked is a fucking amazing game that everyone should play that everyone isn't talking about.
Well, it's fun. It's fun with friends.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're familiar with it. Yeah, it's cool. Sick game. Multiplayer, like cooking, platforming.
Yeah, Call of Duty's campaign, it's pretty good. I'd say it rivals Black Ops 2 in terms of what going out there and doing something different for once. Definitely better than Black Ops 3.
Which is solid as far as those go.
Ghosts. Although I did like Advanced Warfare.
Honestly, they kind of lost me after Modern Warfare 3.
Warfare 3 was pretty good, though. It gave a very satisfying ending to the whole saga. Yeah. Other than that, I know Liam sort of gave up on it, but I'm trying to do the 52 game challenge, is where you beat 52 games in a year, one for every week there is. So currently I'm trying to juggle Party Hard, Severed, and I'm trying to beat Alpha Sapphire before the Sun and Moon come out. And then I have to worry about Final Fantasy at the end of the month. It's just crazy. But I'm close, though. Out of games that have actual endings, I have 43 beaten. And then for games that don't really have endings, like Overwatch or like I started Hearthstone this year, too. I put that on the list. I'm definitely above 52 games I played a lot of hours in, so I'm pretty happy.
That's good. Now you just have to target only tiny short games, and you'll be perfect.
Yeah, but that's the bitch way out, I guess.
That is the bitch way out. Mr. Playing Severed.
God, you and your fucking shade you throw.
I reviewed 60 games in 1 year once. That was hell.
Don't break your hand by patting yourself on the back.
No, I was not proud of that achievement.
Were they good reviews?
They were good reviews. They were not. Most of them were not good games.
Were a lot of them like mobile games or just cheap indie games or something?
Games.
Cheap indie games and mobile ports to Steam, which are the worst. I don't know if anybody's heard of Gravity Badgers, which is actually...
Yes, I have.
That game's the worst.
I have not.
Is it? I've been wondering for a long time about it.
So Gravity Badgers is basically somebody took the honey badger meme and slapped it on Angry Birds Space.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Oh, I've seen that shit.
That tells me
and
everything
I
I
think
need to know.
Seen that.
And the gravity mechanics are actually magnet mechanics.
Garbage.
They're magnet mechanics because you're attracted to red and blue planets and you can shift polarities to be attracted to different planets.
Right, so it should be Magnet Badgers?
It should be magnet badgers. That was a very big point of contention in my review.
I can see why you scored it low.
Space is more money, though.
Yeah, of course. Gravity Badgers rolls off the tongue better. I definitely want to check out Titanfall 2. I might get it. I'm like, the one thing that's stopping me from getting it for the new gaming laptop that I bought because I have a bunch of big trips coming up and I want to be able to edit on the go. But the one thing that stopped me from buying Titanfall 2 is that I'd have to install Origin.
Oh yeah, when I first got the game, Origin was down for like a full day, so I couldn't actually download the game I wanted to pay money for.
you know what? I think we've been conditioned to only like Steam, but technically Steam's kind of the same. There's no more condescending thing to hear said to you than thank you for using Uplay. There's no more like, it's like, no, first of all, no. No, okay? This isn't a willing thing. This is being forced upon me.
You're holding my Rainbow Six Siege hostage, which is ironic if you think about it.
I can't believe I have to use this to play Tropico. For God's sake.
Yeah. If you object to Origin, honestly, the PS4 and Xbox One versions of Titanfall are
I heard they run really
relatively flawless as far as performance is. Yeah, I finished it on PS4. I had absolutely no issue with it
and
at
about
all,
halfway through the campaign, I was like, am I playing Titanfall 2 or am I playing Super Mario Galaxy 2? It fucking goes places with the platforming in the campaign.
The campaign's really good, actually. Like, it starts off pretty pedestrian, and you're like, okay, I learned the mechanics.
Into
okay,
maximum
I played the level.
overdrive.
That's seriously what happens. There's a level about halfway through that Thomas is alluding to that's just nuts, and it's very different, and it throws you a curveball, and then it kind of puts things back to normal for one more level, and then for the remainder of the campaign, it just grabs you and doesn't let go.
Sounds a lot like Halo, if that makes sense.
It's
that
really
sounds like
great.
you're describing the Halo, the Halo campaign, the original Halo.
Having not played the Halo ones, I would offer up Vanquish as my point of comparison.
The original Halo campaign, despite it being terribly aged, was actually pretty mind blowing for a lot of people because it wasn't a campaign with that cohesive of a storyline, like sort of like a shooter with that cohesive of a storyline and that fun, like the nice balance of gameplay. Like I don't want to fillet Halo.
Yeah,
here. Like it's as a franchise not the best anymore. But Halo 1 where it started because
a lot of the games are really good and they deserve the respect.
When you get to the one episode, the one level, where you first meet the Flood, it completely changes the game because you from a storyline perspective you didn't see that coming. And then the next mission is you fight this whole new enemy type you weren't, and then the rest of the game is nothing but the two sides fighting, and you have to walk through it.
That's certainly the kind of thing that Titanfall does. Not exactly those types of things, but that like, oh, I didn't expect this kind of thing, and then the big
good,
twists.
Especially if you can do it in a very approachable way.
I've seen something from Titanfall 2 that super excited me, which was when I watched Jim Sterling's thing about how it's actually good, which was a pretty good video. He was basically like, nobody's buying this, and it's all EA's fault for how they released it, but this game is actually good. And there was one moment of gameplay where there was a shootout outside this like alien facility or whatever, and the wall of the facility was a holographic cloaking device. Oh, okay. And it's just like awesome. A door in the middle of space, but you can tell that it's like a wall that's projecting stuff when you get up close to it. And that is one of the coolest graphical effects I've ever seen in anything.
I'll have to check that out.
That level is just nuts.
I am super excited. You know what? I think I might actually buy it. Maybe tonight. Just to.
He's going to buy it on his way home.
So there's a holiday in America called Black Friday where you can actually get it for like $35.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was going to say EA put Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 for $35 at every major store.
But I'm coming back.
Seriously, Battlefield 1's going to be how much?
$35.
Oh shit! I want that. I'd buy Battlefield 1 for that amount. Hell, I'm tempted to buy it now because I hear how much fun it is, even though it's kind of sloggy at the beginning.
It is a really good game, so you know.
All right, we do have to.
Yeah, we got to segue over, guys, because we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, we do have to move over. So, Taka.
Yeah, seg you hard.
Yeah, Taka, tell us about your week, and then Liam, you can tell us about yours. I'll be brief about mine too.
Honestly, nothing much to really report on. Truthfully, I went and saw my therapist Monday. That was about it, and I got some work done this week. But in the grand scheme of things, not that much because I saw you on Saturday, and we were recording this
on Thursday.
Yeah, so nothing much has happened in between those two places for me. I've watched a bunch of stuff. I watched Space Patrol Luluco. That happened.
How was that?
It was pretty good. And I watched a bunch of Star Trek Voyager. So I'd like to talk about Star Trek Voyager for a while now. Star Trek Voyager.
We did that last week.
I get enough of this shit at home.
All right, so Liam, speaking of your home life, what did you get done?
I did a bunch of fun things. So I'm going to actually go and talk about anime, which isn't something I do on my podcast, and I guess it's relevant to this podcast, right? So A show I've been watching that is like a low-key favorite of mine this season is Scorching Ping Pong Girls, right? And
Your
Jeff,
mic
I recommended
peaked
this
so much
to
when you said ping pong.
last week. Ping pong.
Pong.
Take that. Scorching Ping Pong Girls is an anime about two characters who are basically the Dante and Virgil of amateur ping pong.
Ping pong?
The show actually mostly follows the Virgil, so it's interesting to see Dante come into scene and Virgil get upstood by the Dante, as opposed to where most shows would star the Dante.
Not if you're a Dante fan, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. One of the things that I really dig about that, and it's really explicit about it, is the main character is not the character who has that boundless power. She is the Virgil, right? The second, well, they're both kind of the main character, but she's more secondary. The secondary girl, her power and her ping pong ability comes from how much she likes ping pong. So she doesn't always start out in peak condition when she plays ping pong, but by the end of the match, she is on a whole other level, and she's just, it's unfair how she just gains power playing. And it's really nice to see that as not the main character. You know, normally you see characters like Shimon in Gurren Lagann and stuff who have their magical boundless power, and you get that perspective.
He gets more powerful the more he loves drills. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. But in this case, you're following the rival character, and you see the Shimon or the Dante just fucking.
So we're seeing the virile story.
Yeah, more or less.
The
Exactly.
Krillin story.
Let's not get crazy. The Piccolo story. There we go. That's a bit better.
Yeah, the Piccolo is good in comparison.
They're pretty even skill wise, and it's really entertaining. It's you know, the story's pretty pedestrian. It's, you know, it's sports anime, but it is really fun to see them to see the ping pong matches. They're relatively well animated, and it's quite enjoyable throughout. Particularly when you see the characters like heat up. They do a really good job of getting across the matches. Weird that ping pong keeps getting such good adaptations. It also low key.
Ping pong the animation is like one of the all-time greatest animations.
definitely. But it has a really peculiar
good
art style that you have to get used to.
But that's Masaki Yuasa's stuff in a nutshell.
Different.
Yeah, but it's I guess it's not for everyone.
Yeah. It also, like, low key has a really cool opening, Jeff, that I think you'll enjoy when you watch it. It is also pretty pedestrian and normal, but when you get to the third episode and you start seeing that, like, okay, these guys are like doing fun things with the opening and not just sticking to the formula 100%, I think you will enjoy that. Don't expect to have your mind blown or anything, but when I saw it, I was like, that's fucking cool. That's good shit.
I may have to toss that back on my watch list then.
Do it. I think you'll have fun. At least watch the first 3 episodes so you can get to that.
Yo, Jeff, did you see the opening for Flip Flappers?
Was that on the first episode?
I
haven't seen the second yet.
On Crunchyroll.
I don't remember. I think it might have been.
Because if it was in the I believe, I don't think it stuck with me that hard in that case, but I remember enjoying it while I was watching it.
It's one of the shows I'm currently watching from this season, and it started off being kind of meh, but it's really growing on me.
Yeah,
they have so many reference to like current titles. Like they have a whole episode based upon Mad Max. Almost like the reference are really heavy.
I really like the color usage in that show.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, the pastel. It's gorgeous. It's one of my favorite.
The
It was one of my
ending's pretty
favorites
good,
this season. Flip Flappers is fucking dope. I think it's actually my favorite this season. Back and forth with Yuri on Ice. Can't really 100% decide on that one, right? Flip Flappers is awesome. It's
the soundtrack of this show is just.
It's magnificent. Yeah,
it's one of the best I've seen in a long time.
The soundtrack and the art is all just so great and whimsical.
Yeah.
The worlds are tremendous and varied and interesting. The characters as well. It is a secret magical girl anime for just a little bit. I mean, it's not like it's a huge secret. It's not like it's not a little obvious from the onset.
Well, it's not detrimental either.
Yeah, not at all. But when you actually get to the transformation sequence and you're like, okay, this is also full-on magical girl in addition to everything else, it enhances it rather than holds it back, I think, definitely. It doesn't, as formulaic as it is, where every episode is like, hey, go to a new world, monster of the week, it is so interesting that I think it's able to do it. And I think you could take the exact same script and with worse execution have a bad show.
But do you get what I mean by like Mad Max?
Yeah, that one episode it took place in like this stark desert world.
And
with,
the episode before was like more of a Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the bunny ears and everything.
Yeah, I remember,
like,
absolutely.
I look forward to where they're going each week, basically. It's like a new adventure.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's intentional or it's just kind of like a hidden reference but I dig it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I thought I would get fatigued by because after Madoka's one of my favorite anime, but after that, everyone tried to make subversive magical girl shows.
Yeah,
where it's like, oh, this is really
did you
dark.
see Yuki Yuna's a hero?
Yuki Yuna's a hero. Ugh.
Such a tragedy.
I talked about this on our podcast last week or 2 weeks ago or something, and yeah, Madoka, love it or hate it. It killed the magical girl genre.
Oh yeah,
it fucking came in
Flip
and
it
dropped the
upside
mic.
down.
It really
like,
did. What I love after an anime is all the knockoff animes.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah, for sure. And again, like, love it or hate it. I know a lot of people hate Madoka and feel like its dark undertones are kind of basic bitch, which in a lot of senses and a lot of respects they absolutely are. But it did change the landscape of magical girl anime
told the story
in the modern
really
day.
well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of, you're totally right. A lot of, I mean, it's hard to call them copycat shows, like, because Yuki Yuna existed as a light novel at the same time as Madoka, right?
But there exist shows and concepts that get out there, and then there are shows and concepts that come afterwards for a while. That were not like I can talk about something throughout history. Love Hina was a big one. Evangelion was a big one.
As much
fucking
as all
Gundam was a big. Gundam was a knockoff. Actually, they just became very popular.
Gundam,
they were trying to knock off Star Wars.
They were, and they really worked as well.
They did it.
Some recent ones, for example, and one of the biggest ones is Attack on Titan.
For a while, DreamWorks was just copying everything Disney did.
Unfortunately, the biggest one right now is Sword Art Online.
Everyone's knocking off Sword Art Online. Everyone's like trapped in a thing.
Yeah,
they're a bunch of hacks. They are
that and
hey, sorry, stop. That joke was fantastic.
That was amazing.
And you didn't listen to it.
No, I'm fine with Jeff stonewalling me. I mean,
thank you, Jeff.
I can't let that joke go
It took a second
good
to register, and that is amazing.
Yeah. The reason I bring that up, that Madoka killed the genre, is because this is the first time in a while where I'm watching a magical girl show and I'm like, this show is fucking doing it. And I'm really enjoying Magical Girl Raising Project, which is also this season. But Flip Flappers is fucking doing it and doing its own thing. And like, it's a super typical magical girl script and plot. And it's just mashed up with amazing visuals and an amazing soundtrack, very imaginative worlds, and they're fucking doing it. It's awesome. Sick show. Watch it if you haven't. I'm not going to talk about Yuri on Ice because everybody talks about Yuri on Ice. It's great.
Yeah. Is it about lesbians on ice?
No, Yuri takes place on ice at all.
Ironically, yeah, none at all. So like that's fucking awesome. That show. It's great. Animation is dope. Sure, animation's not as good in the second episode.
Did they talk about Elvis Stoiko-kun? Or Elvis Stoiko-senpai?
Elvis Stoiko comes in the fourth episode.
Does he actually come in the fourth episode?
Yeah.
Are you fucking with me? Is Elvis Stoiko mentioned at any point?
It's about ice skating. Like, yes.
Good. You gotta mention Elvis Stoiko. He's that goddamn is the Robin Williams of ice skating. You can't not mention that excellence.
No, exactly. But it's a fucking excellent show. For everyone complaining that the animation quality drops after episode 1, welcome to anime.
Welcome to anime.
And there was an interesting article about that, actually, how the animation on Crunchyroll is actually actively worse than the animation on the broadcast because they need an extra day to translate it for Crunchyroll.
That actually totally makes sense, but it hasn't struck me. I'm not that inside on anime, so I didn't catch that. That's cool.
And the inverse of that is March Comes In Like a Lion. which is on, I believe, NHK or one of the national television shows at a very like tight time block. And delaying that would delay things for the whole country. So it has to come in earlier for the broadcast than it does for Crunchyroll. So Crunchyroll gets a better product.
Right, I see. So it just varies depending on broadcast schedule.
And we're seeing a lot of these, especially these days, these shows that like roll out half finished and then get done up on the Blu-ray.
They finish for the Blu-ray? Yeah. I'm looking at you, Berserk.
Berserk didn't even start. It's just a rough draft.
Yeah.
Watching Girlish Number still.
Perfect show.
That show's fun. It's about everyone who's listening knows what it's about. It's a good show.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to see a show about voice actresses that's not about them, being successful or doing cool things, but about them in a shitty anime doing shitty jobs or not doing shitty jobs, but being shitty people in certain regards.
It's quite realistic.
Yeah, there's a certain Schadenfreude to enjoy.
And
Schadenfreude.
you are sure...
Schadenfreude, pardon me. Yeah.
Schadenfreude,
Fucking East Coast Canadians.
Segue, come on.
It's Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. There's a musical number about it.
Liam, say mom for me.
Mum.
As American, that makes me laugh.
I guess I'll close out with Keijo, because Keijo has been pretty solid.
What if they built a wonderful empire here? A lovely empire that flourishes here at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, exactly. Keijo is solid. It's all right. It hasn't really been getting better. It hasn't really been getting worse.
Read the manga, right?
Literally read the manga. I've been reading the manga. The manga's better.
I was recommended the manga, and I started reading it. I'm at chapter 13 in the manga, and I can't say that I think it's particularly better thus far at all. I
think it portrays Nozomi in a better light. In the manga, it builds her up as being like frugal and wise, thinking about how she should spend her future. While in the anime, it makes her look like she's really, really greedy.
Yeah, that much it definitely does. And I am only at chapter 13, and I am going to keep reading it, so maybe this fixes itself, or maybe people don't perceive this as a problem. But one of the things that the manga has that the anime doesn't is it has the young adult male main character who is the love interest.
Mm-hmm. They just removed him from the anime?
He falls out of the picture almost immediately, so you don't have to worry about that.
So... does he ever come back?
I don't know about that part because I'm only on 50 something, but so I'm basically around the same point where the anime is currently. I'm watching them back to back.
Yeah, because the show I think the show starts in the episode in chapter 30ish, 36 or something like that, right?
Yeah. Basically the final match of when they're trying to figure out where they're placing in the story.
Yeah, so I really don't like this male character, and that trope of having a male main character.
He disappears, and it in quite a funny way too, where you are right now.
Okay, cool. I'm glad, because I was sincerely not enjoying him and the older teacher character.
It's actually, they make a joke about it, because he does the kind of anime thing where you'll come back for me, right? But she completely ignores him and just leaves because she misses him.
Okay, I really hope he never comes back, because there was shit. There was stuff in there where he tried to convince her not to do Keijo because he cares for her and he's worried for her, and it's she is fucking tough. She is fucking a capable.
Well, he tries to sabotage her at some point.
It's and he tries to sabotage her and shit, and it's I don't like this dude. I legit don't like this dude. He's actually actively getting in her way to belay what she wants to do.
Just let her smash ass with other women.
I think it's good to have a character like that, though, who is sort of the inversion of what you typically see from shows like this, and kind of a shitty person, and they acknowledge it.
Well, he's shitty, but I still get the sense that you're supposed to project on him. a little bit. Like, he's not the main character.
If we were
but
supposed
he's
to project
still...
on him, why wouldn't he encourage her to become a Keijo? Just say you can smash your ass against other girls.
That's the reason I find it weird, because he doesn't have any fucking distinctive properties. He completely matches the characters you're supposed to project on. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't stand out as a cool guy or anything. He's just like a shitty character.
Keijo is all about
who does nothing.
parody, though.
Yeah, certainly.
Keijo's
It certainly
self-aware.
is. So I am enjoying it. You know, these are criticisms that I think are fair, but I am enjoying it despite all that.
And like, I'm not saying it's perfect either, but I was just giving some kind of defense.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that he goes away. I'm not trying to argue that down as like a you're wrong kind of thing.
And if I can,
I am.
Oh, sorry. If I can interject one thing.
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate in a world with anime that concentrate on boobs, this one concentrates on butts.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
Boobs as well, but butts. It's definitely about ass.
It fakes out.
As an ass man, I really appreciate the
no,
diversity.
absolutely.
Let's give a bro bump around the we're bro bump on the computer screen now for you guys. But yeah,
Boob people are subhumans.
They even fake it out with that flat chick who's like, "Oh, you're so flat. How are you gonna get me?" And then she flips around so fast that the after image of her chest makes her makes her ass look like a giant pair of breasts.
That's insanity.
That's top tier technique.
It's fucking sick, dude.
Fucking after images? My God.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll leave it to you there, Jeff. So
yeah, I mean, you've basically covered a lot of the anime that I am keeping up with, and I haven't been able to keep up with a heck of a lot of anime because I've been preparing for 2 really huge trips over the next months. Like, I'm basically gonna be on vacation for half the month, every month straight up till MagFest. I'm actually gonna be out in the Toronto area, so maybe I can pop over to Montreal to bully you guys in your studio or something.
I would really like that, but you are aware that is a fair distance,
It is,
right?
How many hours?
Okay. Just making sure.
I mean, we're all in Canada. It's like a 5-hour drive between everything here, right?
Oh, fuck, bro. So fucking Craig, right, he was out by his cabin, and then all of a sudden this moose came down to the lake near his cabin, right? And then Craig, you whoop. Oh, anyways, moving on, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You want to go for a rip, are you?
Yeah, going for a rip there, but a fucking rip there, I'm dabbing, bud.
He is actually dabbing at this table.
There you go.
But
you have questions for us, right?
Yes, I do have questions for us. So, just to get through my week really quick, I've been planning for a trip to Japan, which I am going to be vlogging while I'm there.
Humble brag.
And I bought myself a new computer to help with making stuff on the go. I made the Mob Psycho video. That's all I did yesterday. And I blitzed through 3... I think it's actually like... I've got like 3 or 4 videos in production right now. And a few more scripts half done. So I am trying to get out ahead of this next month as much as possible so that I don't have to... So that I'm not behind on content and all I have to worry about is doing these Weebcasts over Skype with you guys. And yeah, on that subject, we do have some more questions. One question that came in a couple days ago, before I get to the ones that have been directed specifically at the people in this podcast, because I tweeted out before we started.
Oh, you got some. Damn.
I did. We get questions really fast whenever I tweet out.
Cool.
So yeah, the first question we've got is something that's kind of, I think, relevant to me and Misty specifically. Taka, you may also be able to weigh in on this. I'm not sure. The question is from Trip, and he asks, "Hey guys, I just recently started making anime analysis videos, and I'm running into copyright issues with the footage and audio I'm using, HD anime and background music. Do you have any tips on how to edit videos to remove the likelihood of that happening? I'm already adding a border, changing the speed, and mirroring it. Thanks, Senpizzle."
Yeah, I have a really easy answer to that. You want to keep your clips under 8 seconds.
That's a big one.
Anything you go above that, you risk getting into copyright infringement. So there's usually when you go into analysis, the best thing to do is a lot, and I mean a lot of splicing. Having short clips of like 4 to 6 seconds is the best way to go around it. And if you really want to go from top to from beginning to end, then you have to be really tricky about it, because the YouTube auto detect software has become
It's incredibly sophisticated.
increasingly good at spotting footage that is not yours. So you don't have any other choice than to do a lot of splicing.
What I do with what's in an LP is I loop stuff a lot. I will freeze the frame whenever I'm talking about something. I will try whenever I can to cut away to something relevant as long as I have the footage for it, because getting footage from an episode of an anime is half an hour on torrent, on completely legitimate websites, which I then capture from.
Just use lending links.
Yeah, I buy the Blu-rays.
Miles is gonna fucking break your legs now.
I get... Yeah,
I'll bring it
Miles
right
is going to break my legs.
I'll bring it right back when I'm done with it.
But yeah, I mean...
Jeff's like, why aren't my Crunchyroll checks cashing anymore?
But yeah, getting the footage is a pain in the butt. But having stuff that you can splicing in live action content, if your camera is anywhere near up to snuff, is a good way to just dodge around this segment.
Well, it doesn't really have to be that good. I mean, a lot of people are beginners, and they won't have the gear to have like top-notch stuff like we do, but it's a good way to interject yourself.
Even if you've got a decent smartphone with a good camera on that, as long as you record your audio on whatever microphone you're using, because Yeti microphone's $150. There is no reason not to be using a decent blue plug and play USB microphone while you're recording. As long as you hook that up near your face while you're recording and record on your cell phone camera. That's what I did for live action segments for a lot of my videos before I got my DSLR, and that worked for me. But just intersplicing a little bit of footage can help you break up what would otherwise be a big chunk of copyright material. It's also important to note that it's keyframes in the animation that get picked up by Content ID. So changing the position of the end point and start point of where you get a flag. If you get flagged, you can re-edit it and then just shift that slightly. That can help. Also, speeding up your footage means you're more likely to drop the keyframe that YouTube is checking against the next keyframe in order to see if you're breaking copyright. So going up to 120% speed is a lot better than dropping it to 80% or 50%. Because if you're going to 50%, YouTube has like 2 frames to check for the frame that that it wants to check for. If you're at 120% or a weird percent like 127%, then suddenly YouTube doesn't. It's harder for it to place the frames. And the one other tip that I would give, it's not necessarily applicable to the videos I do, but if you put a border around your video, that won't help unless there are animated aspects of your border. Because if there's animated aspects of your border, then YouTube can't tell that you are using
Should you crop the footage, or should you shrink it down to fit the new box?
If you crop the footage, it will immediately not be picked up because
no, I can weigh on that and say that it will still be picked up.
You have to crop.
They use a tiny square within the footage to match with their database. It's not the entirety. It's like a fragment of it, and if it matched with something else that they have, they will pick it up.
I mean, that's the most efficient way to go through it. But if you shrink it a little bit, cropping it may or may not help. Cropping used to help a lot, but cropping doesn't help anymore.
It used, but now it doesn't work.
But yeah, if you shrink it down and you put an animated border around it, YouTube won't be able to see it because it'll think that it's a different moving image. But if it's a still image, they'll be like, oh, this is just a frame. We're only looking at the part of the screen that's moving. They're very smart about that.
Yeah.
And they go down to resolutions of like 280p.
Yeah, so there you go, a little bit of inside baseball. For you.
Oh, can I interject with some stuff about doing audio or mashups? Trying to put them on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
So as someone who's been banned on SoundCloud and has got a couple tracks flagged on YouTube, regarding SoundCloud, avoid stuff from Sony if you can, even though there's a lot of good artists with that label. One of the reasons I got banned is I did a lot of stuff with Bruno Mars, and regarding the current legal battles Sony is having with SoundCloud, Uptown will funk you up in terms of keeping your account there. With audio on YouTube, you actually get away with it a lot of time if you up-pitch the audio, either for the vocals or the melody. It will mess with your mashup, which is a problem with some of them. I just don't upload them on YouTube at all because it ruins the song. But like for stuff related to Drake, it will bypass the auto detect that will, automatically block the video.
In my case, just for the audio, I just talk over it.
That helps a lot too.
Or
just completely drown out what anime sound there is.
If you're doing analysis, as long as the level of the audio of the song is lower than the level of the audio of your voice,
which it should be anyway.
It only detects peaks. Is the thing like. That's what YouTube is looking for. Is it's looking for a specific pattern of peaks in audio that it'll be like.
That's all it can detect.
That's that popular song. So as long as you're drowning it out, YouTube can't tell. Anyway, let's move on to some more interesting questions. Trey Allen, who is the guy who runs at Jeff Thu Rumors and at Jeff Thu Quotes on Twitter. He sent me a threatening letter in the mail.
Did he?
Yeah, jokingly. He's.
I mean, I feel like sarcasm might be lost in written.
I'm
killing you, lol. I'm gonna kill you, lol, and your whole family, XD.
Was the handwritten? Was the letter printed out with different
It was
magazine
it was
print?
printed out, and it was like we will expose you. We are always watching. We were always collecting evidence. Thanks for following us on Twitter.
Magazine clipping letters and stuff.
Yeah, it was just like plain impact text on a printer page.
Nice.
Okay, but he asks, "Hey Greebcast, by the way, a grebe is a type of waterfowl. Give me a break. There's not a lot of words that rhyme with weeb. My question is this. If you were to transplant a main protagonist and or a main antagonist into a different anime, which character and show would you choose?"
I would take Domon Kashu, and I would apply him very, very carefully to another Gundam series.
He would work well in Zeta. He can actually beat up everybody.
No, could you imagine him in Zeta instead of Camille, and him just getting excited for all the fights? And announcing a Gundam fight every time he fights somebody, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? It bounces off these ropes that only he can see. Mm-hmm. Domon Kashu as the protagonist in so many different shows works so much better because he loves fighting so much. And actually, recently they did that. It's called Drifters. Mm-hmm. What if we took the protagonist of a different anime and dropped him in this other anime? Well, that would be crazy. Yeah, it would be. Let's do it. By Kota Hirano.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would swap Guts and Kirito.
That's strong.
That is good.
I think that would be really enjoyable to watch.
It'd be the same show if you think about it. All these girls wanting to hang out with you, and him wanting nothing to do with it, but kind of.
Yeah.
I would take Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter and put it in Non Beauty. Just for shits and giggles. Just see what happens.
I think Joseph Joestar would work in pretty much any anime. He would adapt to the situation and just scream English every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Dio as the villain of Yu Yu Hakusho: The Dark Tournament.
Oh,
that's fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, wouldn't that be good?
My answer to this isn't a protagonist per se. It's sort of a side character. But I would take Shikamaru from Naruto and or Rock Lee and replace Naruto with them.
Yeah. I honestly, yeah.
Replace Naruto and Sasuke with them. That's a good anime. Suddenly that becomes a really good anime.
I'd swap Killer Queen with Amita Maru from Shaman King.
That is...
I think that show would be a lot more fun if the protagonist didn't have the most straightforward shonen power. So, hey, kill me.
Change one of the Band of the Hawk that's not Griffith or Guts to Dio.
Oh, that's strong. That's really strong.
Because they start out looking like they're working with each other, but secretly you're plotting behind each other's back.
If you would swap Griffith for Dio and he gets a Bayolet, like that'd be pretty cool too. I'd put the Bayolet in Lucky Star.
You know who else I would go for? I would take Kazuma from Konosuba.
Sure, yeah.
And I would replace Guts from Berserk.
So you put Guts in Konosuba or the
no?
other way?
I would replace. I would put Kazuma in Berserk.
In Guts' shoes.
Yeah,
Man, he wouldn't fucking last.
he would not. But here's the thing: he's got ridiculously high luck, and he's a comedy character, and that means that he's playing by different rules. You get the irresponsible Captain Tyler rules of like breaks the whole universe basically by virtue of how great he is.
Right.
And I think that would. I love it when you subvert a genre by putting a comedic protagonist in place of the dramatic one.
Yeah.
All right, we got another question coming in.
Oh, I was gonna say put Yukihira Soma in Fighting Foodons.
Ooh, that's the best answer.
Like if he could make the food, like if you combine those two anime, it becomes better because Food Wars is just a good version of cooking animes, and Fighting Foodons is a shitty Pokemon with a shitty food anime.
Or alternatively, drop Azuma Kazuma from Yakitate Japan into Food Wars as an arc villain.
Yeah, he'll fit right in with the rest of them. Yeah.
And then he becomes his best friend, but like he's like, I have the solar hands, I have la main de des. God, I love that show. All right, so we got another quality question coming in from Elsie Konpaku. Elsie Konpaku asks, "Hey, second best friend cast. Really glad you started doing the show weekly, and it's great so far. My question is, what worlds have fascinated you most within a slice of life show? I love shows such as Haibane Renmei and Sora no Woto, which are set within really interesting universes and are mostly slice of life throughout, and develop characters while dropping hints at lore of the world beyond that. And then the last quarter of the show, something tying together. And then, thanks, Austin. Huh. Is Elsie Austin's girlfriend?
I have no idea.
Damn. Well, that might be our friend Austin from Arcadia, in which case he got us good. But yeah.
So good worlds in slice of life anime.
You know what? There's two that I can think of. First one is Chunibyo, because it's just dynamic and simple. And the other one that I really love is Aria, the animation.
Oh, what's the hook in Aria exactly? I'm not. I have not watched it.
They just travel around the world and they see various places. It's kind of an oldie one.
Okay. All right.
They're kind of like tour guide in this vast world.
That sounds right.
If I had to pick one, does Soul Eater not count as slice of life?
But I mean, you totally get that insight into what Soul Eater's actually like in Soul Eater itself. I don't think Soul Eater should count.
Okay, because I was gonna say I love the world, and the world going on around it is what is the question here. So I'm struggling to come up with one, although I know they're certainly are.
Have you seen Mushishi?
Mushishi's a good candidate for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally.
I'd say
Mushishi is great.
Flying Witch or Spice and Wolf.
Oh, I've Genshiken.
Genshiken is a good one. Yeah. I see my pick.
Wait, sorry. I gotta take that back. I actually said the wrong show entirely. Gintama is what I meant to say.
Gintama. I mean, Genshiken's sort of real world, but I mean, I want those manga
exactly.
and anime
That was-
that they make to exist.
That was not what I meant to say. That was actually just totally a mistake. I meant to say Gintama because that I would say slice of life comedy kind of.
It's a bit of a stretch. It's more like a full on comedy that kind of does whatever it feels like.
I do think the one-off
Sure,
episodes, where nothing really is at stake, but they just have goofy, wacky stuff, are pretty good.
Yeah. Also, Bartender.
Bartender's pretty dope.
Bartender,
I would say that is slice of life as well. I would say
Oh
because
God,
it's
what's the name of that? I keep thinking like Eden, but the show about that bar for robots.
Eve no Jikan, Time of Eve.
Yeah, Time of.
Oh, that was really good. Yeah.
Here's a quick question for me. Sorry, I've been quiet for a little bit. Does Durarara count? Yeah, then that one definitely. I like their persistent world of Ikebukuro.
Yeah.
And I like all the characters and how it like jumps from character to character. You see kind of the whole city, and it gives you kind of a grasp of everything about it. I really enjoyed that. I know it's just Japan, but I enjoyed the fact that they focus so heavily on Ikebukuro.
And Durarara has like a more interesting presentation than like it's just Japan.
Yeah.
It does go a little further.
That would be my favorite slice of life location, though. I'd have to say that I found it interesting because it actually really focused on one specific area of Tokyo.
I would say that for me, my answer would be Space Brothers.
Yeah.
Space Brothers, cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's more of an ongoing drama than a slice of life. But
I would fit it in.
The lines are blurred.
The lines blur. Yeah, exactly.
And I love how it's like a low key near future. Like that's a really cool angle for that type of thing.
Have you seen Planets?
Planetess is another really that's a little farther gone.
Planets.
Planetess or Planetes.
Planetes.
Yeah.
Planetes if you're a
Genius
total pleb.
Planetti.
But I believe it's Planetess. Because it's based on the Latin root of the word.
Okay.
Planetes.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And it's Planetess is a good example of sort of slice of life, but I that world is very exciting, and I'd say Space Brothers is a little more for me because it's a little earlier and a little more hopeful. But yeah, I would love to live in that world.
It doesn't count as slice.
It's a tricky question, specifically slice of life for this. Yeah.
It shows that slice of life influences. I can definitely start speaking of some like early parts of Kill la Kill kind of felt a little bit slice of lifey at points.
Yeah.
And the city they live in is nothing beyond interesting. Like it's
That world is nuts. Yeah.
I love that world. I'm like only this story in this world, but I want to understand how trade works.
If we're talking about setting-wise, I would go with Morio from JoJo, because despite being a shonen anime, that I love Part 4 so much because it's just, instead of having I've got to go around the world and stop these bad guys, it's I have these special powers, but I'm using them for mundane things in my daily life.
Yeah. Well, Part 4 is a smart version of Part 3. Like that's
Part 4 is the prototype for Persona 4.
Well, that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that Part 4 is actually the JoJo version of Scooby-Doo. There are lots of... Part 4 is just great.
Have you got to 8 yet, or did you only finish 7?
I am halfway through 8. I stalled a little bit right after it was revealed. Right after mysterious protagonist X met that person from his past.
It's picking up right now. There's a small delay this month because he always takes one in November, but I'm really interested to see where he goes.
Yeah. I think I'm going to I'm going to get Japanese copies of that and read it on
There you go.
on my trips.
Saved it. Saved it.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a couple more interesting questions. I'm gonna limit it to 2. One of which is basically, I mean, anybody can chime in, but I think Taka will have the most lit opinion about this. What would be your dream dub cast for Mob Psycho 100?
I mean, I haven't heard the dub.
Yeah.
They haven't made a dub announcement yet?
I don't think so.
Let me Google it.
Yeah.
I want Johnny Young Bosch and
I always
Yuri
forget the master's name.
Lowenthal.
What's the master's name? What's the master's name again?
Reagan.
Yes, it is confirmed for a
Okay,
dub.
real fast before I hear anything. I'm cast as Reagan.
Of course.
I'm cast as Now you tell me right now my voice doesn't fit for that character. All right.
Okay, do it.
I'm doing it right now. I'm talking. I'm speaking. Yeah, there's definitely
I'll take it.
I'm sensing a ghost on your shoulder. It's in that building. It's in that building now. We don't live in that
Actually,
building.
it was the building over there.
I'm at that building. It's so big. It's like everywhere. You know?
But that building's also got like...
Oh, really? Yeah, I mean, this is just a ghost alley. I think there is just so many spirits.
Master,
You're
actually...
kind of selling me on that, yeah.
Master,
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Actually, Master, the ghost is like
Mom,
down there.
Mom, look at me. You be good. No matter what, no matter how good you are at what you do, understand that other people are better at other things. And nothing makes you that special. What makes you special is how you work on yourself.
I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to...
Absolutely. Now, whatever you do. Now, help me quick exercise this thing.
All right.
There we go. That's what I would do.
I know he was, as a celebrity, he would probably never do anime, but I can see Danny DeVito as Dimple.
Danny, whoever plays Danny DeVito will be channeling Danny. Whoever casts them will be channeling that, definitely.
Yeah, whoever plays Dimple will have to... Danny DeVito is definitely a strong choice for that.
You know who I'd really like to voice him, though? Chris Rager, the voice of Hercule, to play Dimple.
Yeah.
Just imagine him playing a little bit less Hercule, more just being like, all right, kid, you gotta hear me out on this. I got a plan, and you're gonna love it. Like, just have him be like a dirty gangster instead. Mm-hmm. That would be really good. Mob, I mean, that would really come down to a lot of people. I think a dub version of Mob I'd love to hear from our team to Exorcist. He just got cast as Whis' brother in Ruby, so no, he'd be pretty good. Josh Grell, I think I could definitely see him playing Regan, though. Reagan, no, I can totally see that. As far as the villains go, then you start getting like so elaborate. Like I think a dub cast is going to be. I'm excited to see what they're going to do, what they would do with it. But if anything, maybe Justin Briner as who's the blonde one's name?
Teraki.
Thank you very much. I'm bad with names. I'm very bad with names.
They're weird Japanesey names. Those are hard to do. All right. We're gonna bring in one more question. Who here cares about Mecha?
I care about Mecha more than anybody.
Yeah, Thomas loves that shit.
Okay,
Fight me,
so
Wooly.
this is,
Someone cost you the protagonist.
so Gustavo Mendez asks, "Hello, fellow shitlords and Takahata."
Thank you. I am different.
He is different.
I'm a different
He is
caliber
better.
of human.
Since Jeff mentioned Gundam kits at some point in one of the episodes, I think that was the last episode I was talking about getting into Gundam.
I must have completely like just zoned out to
All
another
right,
world.
it was the episode before that.
That
maybe.
might have been it.
I would like to know if the others have worked on any kits, not strictly Gundam related. Do you have a favorite mobile suit or mobile armor? What other mecha from anime or video games would you instantly buy if they made a model kit for it, like the mecha from FMP or the spider tank from Sora no Oto?
Okay, favorite mobile suit is the Zeta Gundam. Favorite mobile armor, which technically is just a combination machine, is the GPO-3 Dendrobum. I have 20 unbuilt Gunpla that I haven't touched yet, and I've built about 40.
That's a lot.
Well, I prefer super robots. I like real robot units like the ones from Full Metal Panic. I'm really happy that the Leviathan got into Super Robot Wars Z.
I would love to buy the. I would love to get a kit of Moffle with like a full frame inside, like a full mech frame inside that. That's the Fumofu mech, the mascot mech.
I need to actually watch because one of those shows that I just missed.
It's also a secret unit in the Super Robot Wars games. It's really fun.
Oh, that's amazing! That's amazing.
And then they replace all of the voice lines of whichever of the characters from that show pilot with just the Fumofu noise over and over.
That's funny. I think for me,
No, since he
God
said
damn
not
it,
strictly
Liam.
mecha, I used to build a lot of Warhammer Fantasy figures, mostly like Lizardman Army,
Pretty
but
good,
I
pretty good,
helped
strong.
with a bunch of shit. Not super into mecha, but there's this one figure.
I'll fight you with my Dark Elves.
Yeah, we'll do it. It'll be a good fight.
It'll be good.
Until I
We'll
fucking
videotape
stomp
it.
you.
We'll expand your channel to Warhammer. I think it's time.
I'm sure that's a big market, right? There is a figure I've been jonesing to buy for a while, but I just haven't, and it is the Good Smile Arms Chamber from
I just
Suisei
bought
no
that.
Gargantia. Oh, okay, yeah, it's very nice. I've been wanting to buy it for
Not a kit.
a bit.
Not a kit.
No, it is not a kit. Yeah, no,
Chamber-
it is not a kit.
Chamber is my
But I want
Chamber
it.
is best girl. Chamber is
What a nice show.
Chamber's
What a
best
nice
girl
show.
in that show. Like, I think everybody can agree with that. And Amy's a pretty good girl.
I think Best Girl is reductive to the point that Chamber deserves better.
Yeah, that's true. Chamber is best everything. And,
Chamber is just a good character, really good character, and I like Chamber's design a lot. It's fucking hot.
That's pretty sweet. I'm gonna go out here. There's two. They're jumping out at me from my childhood. One I have to say I'm a big mark for is Heavy Arms.
yeah.
Definitely Heavy Arms from Gundam Wing. Not the biggest fan of Gundam Wing, but I loved Heavy Arms design. Just the purity of just a gun. That's what's your technique? A gun. What happens when you're out of a gun? I have knife. Okay. Anything else? No.
Knife is good.
Knife is good when gun broke. All right, Troy, you're a great character. And secondarily, and I can't believe no one said this, Escaflowne.
Ooh.
And that is on my list because it uses a damn sword and it has a theme music so great that they took it from the movie and put it into the show.
I really thought you were gonna go for something like Megas or something.
Remember,
Megas
Megas
XLR.
R does not count. That's the parody character.
That's true.
remember Gurren Lagann?
No, that doesn't count because that's the parody character.
I think Gurren Lagann is pretty top tier. My mech that I'd go for, because I mean, I haven't seen enough Gundam to be like absolutely in love with any one
Based on your girlfriend, you'll get
mobile
there.
suit.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
I will. Yazi is obsessed, and I mean, we have started watching Unicorn, and I do really like the Unicorn Gundam.
Yeah, Unicorn's dope. It's fucking
Its
sick.
upgrades are crazy too.
The Unicorn Gundam's fucking sick, and like I want to build some of those perfect grade kits. Holy shit. But hey, P.O. Box 54066, Central Lonsdale, North Vancouver, BC,
You professional
V7M2J0.
shitbag, you professional shitbag, you piece of human garbage. You can't hide behind a
Send
microphone
in
with
bags
me.
of
1
glitter.
second, I need to learn him something.
No, Tucker! No! Tucker!
Shit.
No!
You fucking wait for Christmas. You fucking wait for Christmas.
This belt has so many studs in it. Help! No, since I can't really like speak to a specific Gundam that I'm absolutely in love with yet, and saying Big Zam would be too much of a meme.
Nice meme. Next thing you say Big O. Nice meme.
Yeah, but I would say that out of the model kits that Bandai has produced so far, I am absolutely in love with the AV98 Ingram from Pat Labor.
Yeah.
I just love I love Pat Labor's sort of practical mecha.
Yeah, their designs are really good, and it is fun to think that they're like police. It's like so simple. The practicality, that's a good word for it.
Would the one in Suisei no Gargantia work?
As a model kit?
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
It is simple. It does have a lot of like extraneous parts. Like the one that I bought, I need to super glue his metal whiskers on because they came out a little too easily, and I don't see a way of reattaching them that's like snap in. But yeah, I think that the Gargantia one would work as a kit. My pick, my pick for must-have kit is either the Tachikoma from Ghost in the Shell, which may be a kit already, probably is a kit already, but Tachikomas are great. They're the best characters in that whole show. I'm not sure if that really counts as a mech, per se. But that aside, my top pick would probably be the Chamomile Mark II giant robot, the base giant robot from Steambot Chronicles.
Chamomile's very soothing, actually.
I would,
It's a cool robot.
which is the import version of the Earl Grey Mark II from across the sea. Which, because in Steambot Chronicles, which is my favorite video game of all time, and this is part of why I would make, I would love to buy kits from it. In Steambot Chronicles, instead of cars, everyone has giant steampunk Oldsmobile mecha.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's the best.
A lot of pipes. Like
if you need reference for the tone of the game, I believe it came with a harmonica.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
This is a hipster's wet dream.
The pre-order bonus was a harmonica. You do run around, like, one of the primary ways of making money in the game is to take out a musical instrument such as a guitar and start playing random music on the street for passersby. Steambot Chronicles.
Steambot Chronicles.
A relaxing, non-linear adventure. Steambot Chronicles. Be a
Is
bad guy
Is
if
this
you
on
want.
Steam?
It's on PlayStation
No.
2. It was an Atlas game, so it's kind of
okay.
It's gotten rare now. Sealed copies go for like $120 now.
I'll have to look into that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It's
a very cool game. I think there's a PSP version, but it's not a port. It's something else.
the PSP version is sort of like the battle arena and a little bit of exploration.
Okay, yeah.
Where
I never played that one. Yeah.
Whereas the original game was a sandbox game with like a functioning economy built into it, sort of like Grand Theft Auto 5, but better. Like, you could trade stuff on the stock market, you could do commodities trading.
This is a one-player game.
This is a one-player game for the PS2, and it's got Mass Effect-style dialogue choices too.
Ah, sweet.
A full, like, 5
Can I punch
years
a reporter
before
in the
Mass-
face? That is a very important thing.
No, but you can rob a farmer and steal all his potatoes.
How racist is this
Fucking
potato
potatoes.
farmer?
Not very racist.
It could be racist.
He could be more Irish. I agree.
For reference, Jeff, actually, I think Mass Effect only came out a year and a half after Steambot Chronicles.
Did it? Oh, God.
Oh, so that's a late.
Because Steambot Chronicles came out in
It's a late
2005.
PS2 game.
Oh,
That's
it's
right.
a late PS2 game.
Yeah.
'Cause that's even more interesting because the late PS2 games like that and Persona 4, just small little games.
And you know what the worst thing about it is? It's a very good looking cel shaded game, but
And it's cell shit.
it runs in the disaster report engine, which means it's one of the 2 PS2 games that are almost impossible to correctly emulate.
Okay.
And that sucks because it's gotten expensive and there's no PSN releases or anything. And the sequel that they had planned for PS3, which looked amazing, was supposed to come out right after Disaster Report 5, which, I mean,
4.
Disaster Report 4, which was scheduled for release about a month after Fukushima.
That's unfortunate.
So
It was the Tohoku earthquakes, and that was why it was so relevant, was because it was a disaster.
Yeah.
But actually, Granzella recently, a new company made by Sony and Namco, made by former IREM staffers,
which is all the people who, like, the founder of that was the creative director of Steambot Chronicles.
They reacquired the rights to their games, and they are releasing Disaster Report 4 on PS4, actually. So I would not be shocked to see them want to come back to
If Steambot Chronicles 2 happens,
aka Bumpy Trot.
No. Steambot Chronicles pre-mastered.
Yeah.
They remaster it before it even comes out.
If Steambot Chronicles 2 comes out on PS4 or Bumpy Trot 2, because it's called Roman Panketsu Bumpy Trot in Japan.
That's a bad name.
That is a bad name. It's got it fits the tone. This game is like a Ghibli movie come to life. Like straight down to the really cute
Like
romance.
Sakura Wars? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Don't actually answer that question. I just said a crazy thing. Don't respond to it when I do that.
But yeah, so it's kind of inverse Castle in the Sky almost, where the main character has a magic pendant, and it's a girl who picks him up, and he doesn't know what to do with it.
Okay.
But it's about giant robots. It's about the stock market. It's about a pop band going through its final breakup, and the new member they try to inject into that on their last tour to bring in new blood. And will they get back together later? Who knows? These are the questions that are answered in Steambot Chronicles. It's a really good game.
I'll have to take a look at it.
But yeah, so anything from Steambot Chronicles, I would buy a model kit in a heartbeat for the same reason that when I have a bit more money, I am buying every piece of model kit for the Valkyria Chronicles tanks, which there are a lot of, and they're really nice.
I was going to add. So I'm a big fan of Dynamic Pro, which includes all the Mazinger and Getter Robo stuff, including like Kotetsu Jinjig and things like that. So for the new Super Wars game, they're making a new version of Great Mazinger called Mazin Emperor G. So the recent Shin Mazinger Z anime never got a proper ending. It ended on a cliffhanger. So this game is actually adding an original plot with a new unit for Great Mazinger, which I'm really looking forward to. Sorry for gushing. I just really like super robots.
Yeah. Oh god, that does sound like something I really want to.
I'll link you it.
Yeah. Drop me the link. All right, and then we're gonna close it out on a meme question from my buddy Kamara.
Excellent.
AKA Subsonic Sparkle, who asks. He says he's a longtime fan. And
why?
Hey, hello everyone, longtime fan. My question is for Misty Chronexia. On a scale of 1 to 10, why are you so bald? Much love from Indonesia, Subsonic Sparkle.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a blue.
Excellent answer.
That seems a bit hard to quantify on a scale. I agree.
This podcast brought to you by Dollar Shave Club, everybody, and
I wish I had a Dollar Shave Club code. Those guys pay big bucks.
Yeah, go use our Dollar Shave Club code WoollyM.
no, don't stop it! Stop it, Liam!
I'm working.
Stop it!
You'll get your free Dr. Carver shaving butter.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm working on getting my own Loot Crate code that I can toss into these pretty soon. I'm not sure when that'll be 100%, but at some point soon you will be able to go to lootcrate.com/basement and use promo code basement. I will let you know on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter to hear all the hot deets about that. Man, I could go for some Japanese snacks right now. I need to contact those guys. I need to shill harder.
Honestly, I've been
Akibento
disappointed.
is exactly like loot anime.
For shilling, but I want you to know that I'm proud of you for shilling twice as hard to get through me stopping you from shilling. This is your fire, and through it this is how you temper the sword that is your shilling.
Yeah. And when it comes out the other side, I will be able to sell anything to anyone who is open to suggestion from a random influencer on YouTube.
A door-to-door salesman comes to your house and you manage to sell them stuff.
Don't forget to check out Loot Anime /TFS, of course, to check out new. What? Liam did it.
And of course, if you want to watch Luluco or most of the other shows that we talked about, probably should have said this at the beginning of the Weebcast. Go to crunchyroll.com/basement for a 14-day free trial. And I get $8.
You do?
Check cashed.
Check cashed. I guess they sponsored this podcast. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. It was a lot of fun talking to you about this great show.
It's great talking to you all.
My pleasure.
Anytime.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and I hope that we can have you all back on at some point in the near future while I am off in glorious Nippon. And I hope that you guys who are listening right now have enjoyed this discussion and buy into my theory about Luluco, and we'll put it all over the internet for people to hear, because this is the truth. This is the hard truth.
Truth.
But that's just a theory. An anime theory.
Thanks for watching. Listening.
Thanks for listening. There's no visual component to this podcast. You have failed!
And since I can't sign out from my mother's basement, I am Jeff Thu, professional shitbag, signing out from Takahata101's
Team
apartment.
4-Star North.
From TFS North headquarters.
There you go.
The secret den of the Ustabayas. Ustabayas!